What's up, everybody? Welcome to PSI Love You XOXO episode 38. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the new face of video games, Blessing Adeoye Jr.
What's up, Greg?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a Monday.
How do you like this light behind your TV? Because Kevin's trying to sell me on a very expensive one.
I mean, I like it. The thing that's nice about it is this right here. Alexa, turn all lights green. And then it just happens. Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
So
Just
if I'm
like
playing,
that.
if I'm gonna play Persona 5, Alexa, turn all lights red.
Oh.
Greg, I can't explain it in a way that you'll fully grasp until you
Sure,
actually
I'm an
try
idiot.
it. Where once you have the
Say whence?
no yeah
Once and when
from
combined.
whence you came.
From
once
whence
you
came.
have like the stupid colors shooting out of your TV,
Yeah.
it's just it takes you deeper into the games. Deeper.
Wow. A new level.
It does.
of games.
Honestly, like I'm not one for the theatrics when it comes to my gaming setup. I just want to play the game. I'm not Tim Gettys. I don't need a whole theater to play a video game.
Sure.
But having the red light, and honestly, like on screen right now, it looks orange, but I promise you in person, it is very red.
Sure.
Having that on behind the screen as I'm playing Persona 5, it's a different experience. Like it enhances what's going on screen to a point where I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool.
Blessing at this point, he can't actually it doesn't change with his setup. He just has a single color that he chooses.
Right. Yeah. Or two colors. Alexa,
or two colors,
turn first light blue.
But
yeah,
yeah.
Hues
Now you got
lights
the
will
cops.
change you, you know?
The 5-0 behind you there.
Oh no, I don't like that. Alexa, turn second light green.
Okay. Now this is Kevin wants me to get the one that like projects the screen outwards. Have you seen this thing?
No. What's this?
Kevin?
I mean, do you want me to pull up a video or
No, just to explain it. I mean, I don't know.
Is this the one that is this like what Tim has where it is like connected to the HDMI where it's like reflecting the colors on the TV?
I don't like that you're associating with Tim because I definitely had it far before he did.
But I experienced it with Tim though. Like that's different. And Tim has it in a theater.
Yeah, Tim's setup is also not like it's not. Unfortunately, having lights shooting around a projector, it doesn't make the projector look better. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah, I do get it.
You really have to enjoy it with an OLED. You should come over. We should watch something together. Maybe one of these Miyazaki movies because they got a lot of colors. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that sounds like a great time.
Yeah.
What about
Greg? You don't like Miyazaki?
I saw Howl's Moving Castle.
Did
you see Spirited Away?
He's kind of an idiot.
No.
Don't worry about him.
Oh man,
Which is the one I saw. Your Name. Was that him?
That's not him. I don't believe.
You sound so dumb right now in front of all our friends.
I saw Dennis the Menace, the old cartoon.
That is Studio Ghibli. Hayao Miyazaki.
Here's the thing: it's just if I'm gonna watch a cartoon, it's got to have a superhero in it. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to see.
Then why don't you watch more anime? All anime is the superheroes.
Oh, let me say it again. It has to have a superhero I care about in it. All right. I
watched. You don't care about Goku?
Barrett made me watch My Hero Academia for like 3 or 4 episodes. It was good.
Goku is basically
not
Superman.
Something I need to come back to. I've heard this argument before. Yes, I'm aware that this is the case. All right.
Yeah. I mean, he is. He's a dude from an alien planet that got stranded on Earth who didn't know how he got there and just had to live with being the superpowered being and ended up having to protect the Earth.
But I already get that from Superman better, so why should I go do that?
I don't know if you get it from Superman better.
It's literally that thing of like I understand that, but I like this. Like why? You know what I mean?
What's up, Kevin?
He does get that from Superman better. And I've seen all of Dragon Ball and all of Dragon Ball Z. All right, so chill out. You know what I'm saying? Like I've devoted hundreds of hours at this point.
I'm putting Dragon Ball Z above Superman. I'm sorry.
What a surprise! How much Superman source material have you watched, Blessing?
Man of Steel.
There you go. Thank you. The defense rests. This guy's an idiot. We don't need to listen to him. You know what I mean? That's it. I only have a limited number of hours in my day for free time.
But
and I'll be damned if what I'm going to do with them is sit there and watch some cartoon with that. Even if I watch it dubbed, I'm going to get yelled at for watching it dubbed.
Those people are dumb. I don't like those people.
And like the giant sweatshops. All right, I watched Teen Titan Go this weekend. Watch that cartoon.
Ooh,
that's a great cartoon.
That's actually pretty good. Yeah.
Set your watch to it. It's a good one. You watch that, but that's you know about that, but you don't know more about Superman?
Oh, dude, Teen Titans was like a thing when I was growing up. Like it was on Cartoon Network at the right time for me. And so I absolutely fell in love with Teen Titans. I actually didn't watch much of Go. I want to watch more of Go because for the little I've seen of it, it seems like a pretty funny take on Teen Titans.
Of course.
But yeah, I care. It depends on like what the thing is. Because that Batman Arkham, I love, obviously because it's a video game. Teen Titans, I love because it's Teen Titans. And like from there, I kind of pick and choose when it comes to which DC properties or which DC products that I'll watch. Like the Harley Quinn show on DC Universe. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like there's not really been a Superman thing that's ever grabbed me.
This new Superman animated movie is supposed to be pretty good. I'm still waiting on my copy to get delivered at the office. I think it's been punted a few times. I probably
It's a new one. Who's the bad guy? Is it?
Well, it's Lobo.
The bald guy again?
No, Lex. Yeah, Lex is in there. I don't think he's the bad guy. Guy. You know what I mean? But I'm sure he has.
It was for free. You could have watched that weekend.
Yeah, I know. Back to my original argument, Kevin. I only have so many free hours ever, and never, regardless of the property, it's incredibly rare that I'm like, you know what? I can't wait to do. Sit here for X amount of time watching something. God, I'd much rather play something.
Just get the lights. Read a comic. Right? Just get the lights. Here's the thing. It's gonna make your life better. Just get it. I know it seems expensive, but like you know what?
No, hold on. Now my attorney, Genevieve Saint Ange, the other day when I was talking about this, that Kevin sent these lights he wants me to buy. She said, "Well, wait a second. I want them to be for behind you to project while you're live. Can we expense them?" And I said, "I don't know. I'll have to run that by Kevin, the finance department."
I mean, we expensed Bless's. I was
gonna say, didn't we expense these?
I haven't expensed any lights for myself, but as soon as someone says I can, I will.
Wait, so we Blessing paid for his, or we expensed those?
We expensed those.
Y'all paid for this.
Oh, see, there you go. Then yeah. Right? Because you figure like Jen,
so you know,
Jen made it all Halloween. See, she did a whole bunch of Halloween stuff here.
Oh, that's cool.
So she was talking about wanting the lights over here. Where she wants to put a happy Halloween banner there, like but I was like too tired last night to do it. But then she wants to have the lights shooting up.
What's Halloween
over there?
Green
over there. What are Halloween colors?
Yeah,
orange
green, orange,
black.
Did you just wake up orange and black? What is wrong with you? I have a splitting headache, and I wouldn't miss something that elementary.
Are you hungover?
I've never cared about Halloween colors.
What is wrong with you?
The only holiday colors I care about are Christmas. Christmas is green.
This is how great Halloween is that I can just have a candy bowl out with skull hands all September into October long. And then whenever I want candy, it's right there.
We're not even October yet, and you're celebrating Halloween.
The Millers take Halloween very seriously. That's a well-known thing about it.
As soon as Labor Day is done, you get ready for Halloween. As soon as Labor Day is done.
September needs its own holiday.
I don't want to rotate the camera, Kev, because I know I'll fuck it up putting it back. But then over here, we got a bunch of bats on the walls and a spooky thing, and then we had this like spider web dressing over here.
I don't like when people celebrate holidays too early, because at that point it's
too early.
Blessing.
We're in September. Who celebrates Halloween in September?
It's Poe's birthday, the scariest day of the year.
That's like celebrating Christmas on like November 1st. It's like, bro, Thanksgiving is still there.
No, it's actually very simple addition and subtraction. That would have told you there's a lot more different days there. There's 15 or 16 extra days there right there than where we are right now. And here's what I'll say is that Halloween's the best holiday, and it's celebrated too short of an amount of time.
It's sad.
It's sacrilege? What you cut out there?
No, I said it's sad. It's sad.
Oh, it's sad.
Yeah,
it is very sad.
As soon as the holiday running up to it is done, which was Labor Day.
Okay, we can't start calling Labor Day a holiday. Like technically it's a holiday, but we can't compare it to like
you come
Christmas.
to my house for a barbecue? We were supposed to wear all white, but Paula didn't tell me she was like doing it, so I was all depressed.
I think I wore white. I think you're the only one that didn't wear white, Kevin.
It was really upsetting. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
It was your house, see. You could have changed at any point.
That's a great point too.
I don't own any white pants or shorts.
I'm just saying I don't know how common knowledge it is what the Halloween colors are.
That is the stupidest thing you've ever said on any podcast
right now.
Everybody knows the Halloween color. Hold on. I'm gonna ask Michael this.
Bring him in here. No. Hey, hold on. Oh, I hate him. I'm gonna tweet it. Hold on. Do you know the Halloween colors? Is that the question? Halloween colors.
What are Halloween colors? Question mark.
Okay. What?
He said orange, brown, black.
Brown.
If you would have done it in a more justified way, I would have told you not to. I would have said drag him in here. You got to drag him in here. You probably just put the whole thing in his ear. We're tweeting. What are the? And I'm putting quote the. No, I guess I shouldn't put quotes around it.
I don't understand. That's like you saying right now, I don't know what Christmas colors are.
Because Christmas is a bigger holiday. Like any holiday that's not Christmas, why do I care about what your colors are? What are Thanksgiving colors?
Maple? That's easy. Orange, maple, yellow, and brown. That's
not even
Thanksgiving color.
those aren't even. That's
Thanksgiving color. You know why?
It's like a range of colors.
I mean, there's 3 of them.
Yeah,
That's
but they're
how they
all like
party.
in the same like I don't know like gradient.
It's funny he said brown because I think that he's mixing Thanksgiving colors with Halloween colors. But this is like if I ask you what are Easter colors? What are Easter colors?
Because people
hold on. Here we go.
No,
Lucy James is not. I know she's not, and that's how elementary this question is. I'm gonna get up. She's gonna put on the headphones and sit down in front of the mic. You will ask the question, Blessing.
Okay.
All right. But Kevin, make sure
don't
it's
fuck up this question. Look at me. Don't fuck up this question.
PlayStation. Lucy, how's it going?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Did you hear our conversation through the wall first and foremost?
Oh my God, he gave you directions.
I'm trying to make sure that these directions are fair. Lucy, can you tell me what are the Halloween colors?
Orange and black.
God damn it!
You're an idiot. You are dumb. Thank you, Lucy. You're free.
Wait, no. What are the Thanksgiving colors?
Red, white, and blue. I don't know. I'm British. Why would I know that?
No,
do
okay,
the British celebrate?
Whatever.
Wait, actually, yeah. Do y'all like?
Right
do you guys celebrate Halloween the same way they do in America?
No.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
they don't
cool.
do
Thank you so much, Lucy.
The Canadians do Thanksgiving though. It's a different day.
Yeah. Well, it's more of a. I don't know. I only know of Thanksgiving because of American sitcoms, really. So.
Yeah, that's right. Best
Fair.
sitcoms.
Thank you for embarrassing me, Lucy.
Thank you.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Crushed it. Good job. You're on the right side of history.
God damn it. Okay, well maybe I'm the only one.
Thanksgiving colors. That wasn't even worth asking. You know what I mean? Don't try to because you didn't know something that they should have taught you in like the first grade.
You know what's funny?
When you buy that crappy bag of candy from Brock's, right? And it's just that stupid, like, it's not taffy, but it's almost taffy. They're wrapped up in paper and it's orange and it's black. Those are the colors. Everybody knows this. Pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern.
Everybody knows this?
Everybody knows this. Well, let me look at my tweet responses. Now, see, there's this international thing going on, but yeah, Amy Gilroy Irish says orange, red, black, and yellow, maybe a dash of white. Like Amy Gills,
out, bro.
Get her out of here. But then what? Mike Minotti, orange and black. DiGiorno, orange and black. Emmett Watkins Jr., black and orange. Evan P., orange and brown. Who questions this? Brown? Get out of here, Evan P. Nobody knows what you're talking about. But then, yeah, overwhelmingly orange and black here. You got to start thinking about things, all right? You know a lot about Donkey Kong. You know a lot about all these other games.
I do know a lot about Donkey Kong.
Start thinking about
what
Halloween.
What are Easter colors?
You're asking me questions.
One-word answer.
It's a one-word answer.
When I think of Easter, I think of the Easter Bunny and I think of pink.
So here's what I'm going to say. Kevin, can I answer?
Yes.
Because you said it's one word, right?
Yeah.
Pastels.
There you go. Nailed it. Fucking nailed it. Nailed it.
I mean,
bro, Google
I don't know what that
pastels,
means.
and I guarantee you the Easter Bunny's gonna come up.
I don't know what that means.
What, you don't know what
pastels?
Oh my god!
Like, what do you mean by that? Like pastels?
They're like a shade of colors that are like light. Like when you're imagining yellow with the Easter Bunny, that's pastel.
I see.
There you go.
Okay.
But it's a variation. It's the whole
like
color range.
Pink is one of those colors,
yeah,
though,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely,
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
All right, I can buy that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can buy that too. And guess what? Even though Halloween is still a ways away, so is, it turns out, the PlayStation 5's release date. Let's get into it on this episode of PS I Love You, XOXO, your PlayStation podcast. Of course, we post it each and every Tuesday morning, but if you want to go above and beyond, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, where, of course, you can support us. You can get your questions on the show. You can get your PSN name on the show. You can get the exclusive show, Bless Up. Or no, that's right. Bless Up's the one, the games one. Yeah, sorry. And of course, you can be part of the show, like I already said. You can watch us record it live, though, like so many people are, just like Jacek is, Madeline is, James Davis Makes is, and Dragon D is, of course, over on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. You get to watch us record the show, have a good time, see all the things we have to cut out later because Kevin said something horrible.
Every week,
I didn't say
he
shit.
says another offensive thing.
Don't make
every
stuff
week,
up.
yeah,
Don't make this about me.
However, if you have no bucks, toss our way, no big deal. Like I said, each and every Tuesday, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, podcast services around the globe. Blessing and I get incredibly nerdy about all things PlayStation and hang out with you. We love and appreciate you. Thanks for supporting the show. Consider, of course, subscribing, sharing, and going to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Some housekeeping for you, of course. Shout out to our Patreon producers, Mohammed, aka Momo, GetHealthyWithHyrum at gmail.com, Tom Bock, SkinTightSalmon, Jeffrey P Long, Julian the gluten-free gamer, Sancho West Gaming, and James Hastings. Today, our sponsor, of course, is Freeze HD. This is Scott Porter working against Huntington's disease once again. He'll tell you more about it later in the show. But of course, you could just go to kindafunny.com/Team Porter for the full rundown. But blessing for
Greg,
now.
before you even move on, I'm looking at your Twitter responses right now. And there are like 5 responses in a row that mention purple. Nestor on Twitter says orange, black, and purple. Anuzi says orange, black, and purple. Froggy says orange, black, green, purple.
It's like
and I said green, purple. That's where I started, was green, purple.
Like
and then I got to orange.
So you don't even have orange.
Colors.
You don't even have the color of a pumpkin. The thing that when you say Halloween, you think boom, pumpkin. The first fucking thing you think of for Halloween.
I don't know, man. All of fall I associate with
You're gonna
orange.
sit here with a straight face and tell me you clear your mind. I say Halloween, and you're like, oh, Maleficent, green and purple. That's what I got happening right now.
Yeah,
I'm a big Wicked fan.
Cyber Calamity here says purple orange. Also, Cyber Calamity is a great username. Sam Makovech says Yelloween, hello or hollow orange, blueberry, and Fraken Gray, which I really appreciate.
Getting too creative with it, Sam. Getting too creative with it. I'm not a fan of it. But I am a fan of the PlayStation 5. Blessing, we earlier were talking about topic of the show. We start with a big question, usually a big topic we're going to dive into. What did we want to do here? And so there was this question of, man, maybe we talk about, today's, as of recording, big news that Microsoft has bought Bethesda. And then, of course, we could talk about, oh man, there was the whole pre-order stuff that happened last week with the PlayStation 5. And then, of course, the PlayStation putting up an apology tweet, which is so unheard of. And then I was like, well, why don't we can talk about the showcase. Of course, since we recorded this show, we now have the release date and the price of the PlayStation 5. And then, of course, there's been all this insomniac back and forth about what it is and isn't in Spider-Man. And then I think it became crystal clear. The thing we need to talk about for topic of the show is the state of the PlayStation 5. Last week, however unlikely. Oh, I forgot. I didn't realize we were doing PlayStation 5 watch. Good job, Kev.
Thank you, Kevin.
I thought that fit.
You nailed it. Kevin, it did fit. Never be afraid, all right? You get in there and you insert whatever you need to insert wherever you need to insert it in the show, all right?
Phrasing.
Wherever you need to.
Phrasing.
But the thing about it is, it's hard to believe that 1 week ago, Blessing, we knew none of this information. Like, we did this show and it was, where are we? What are we going to know? And, the week before, right, I had predicted that, hey, we're going to know. I guess I'm thinking 2 weeks before we knew none of this information. Last week we did it on as the post show for it. Sorry, it's time's a flat circle.
Yeah, but you did get right. We're 2 episodes ago, you were like, by this episode, the one we're on, we're gonna have all the information.
Right.
And like we got the information on Wednesday, so we had last week's episode to talk about it. But technically you are correct that now we know all the things that we didn't know. We almost know too much, honestly. At this point.
So yeah, last week it was the post show to the PlayStation Showcase. We of course ran through it. We had Andy, we had Tim, we had a good time. But now it's just you and me. The party's over. The kids have gone home. We're sitting here in the afterglow of a great event and some not great things about it. When I ask you what's the state of the PlayStation 5, where do you start to tackle it?
I mean, that's a loaded question.
I know it is.
And I mean, honestly, I would start with today. Microsoft buying Bethesda. Like, I think that is such big news, and that is such a big blow to how we've thought of the rollout of the PS5 and Sony having such a strong approach to the next gen consoles. Because like that's the thing we come back to every time when we're talking about PlayStation. We talk about how they have the lead this time around, right? And how they need to keep that lead. The thing that is keeping them that lead is the fact that they have the games to back it up. They have a strong first party portfolio. They have your God of Wars, your Horizons, your games that are filling in that place that third parties aren't necessarily filling in as well as PlayStation is when it comes to the amazing narrative driven third person action games and like everything else that's in the PlayStation ecosystem, from Dreams to Iron Man VR and everything in between. You have that with Bethesda buying, or with Xbox buying Bethesda. I feel like this finally brings up the question of, does PlayStation still have the strongest first party library in comparison between the two? Because this is a question I asked Tim this morning on KFGD, and I forget Tim's answer, but I think he was still on the side of PlayStation with what they got. I honestly don't have an answer anymore. I don't know who I would say, and I guess this is the thing that time will tell, right? Like seeing the output over the next few years, over the next 4 to 5 years, will really tell a story. But as of now, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Doom, Wolfenstein, all the Bethesda IPs are now under Microsoft, and that does pose such a big I want to use the word threat because I don't think it's a threat, but it poses a challenge to PlayStation Studios when you look at what they have and what both companies are doing in their strategy leading up to next gen.
Well, I think yes, you're right, and I want to get into that. But more than anything, and it's something I heard you mention earlier today as well, or at least the concept of it, but expanding on it, it's the idea that nothing is too crazy anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, think if last week I would have been like, hey man, I think Xbox might buy Bethesda. Even though I said the next 5 years, I think there would have been a question of like, well, sure, but like, let's see how, what the ramifications of Fallout 76 underperforming is. Let's see how, Starfield turns out. Maybe that could be a thing if ZeniMax started hurting, but they haven't ever, like, think about it. Like, if E3 would have gone as normal and there wouldn't have been COVID this year, Bethesda would have done a press conference. Like they had stepped up in recent years to be like, hey, no, we're a third party, but we're a third party on another level. And I know hearing you mention earlier and Tim talk about it of like, think about it, like as crazy as this is, that meant that Warner Brothers stuff, if Warner Brothers were up to sell, that could have happened. That could have been a thing that Xbox snapped them up and did it. So for them to snap up Bethesda, it is this like, holy shit, is this the last or is this just the biggest as of late? Are they going to continue to do this, right? Like you see the number of studios keep ballooning for Xbox game studios. And even though Jason Schreier tweeted today, right? To answer the question everyone is asking, Phil Spencer tells Dina Bass that Xbox plans to honor the PS5 exclusivity commitment for Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. Future Bethesda games will be on Xbox, PC, and quote, other consoles on a case-by-case basis. Even if we wanted to reach in and start the argument, the conversation of what does it look like if things aren't exclusive, or I'm sorry, if games aren't coming to PlayStation anymore, if you're looking at the next Elder Scrolls 6 not coming to PlayStation, you're looking at Starfield not coming to PlayStation. I don't even think you have to go that far with the argument, because instead what the argument becomes is, what does it mean that these games are going to be on Xbox Game Pass day and date right there? So again, for $14 you have, or $15 you have everything Xbox has on their first party studio lineup. And again, that's the thing, is it could still come to PlayStation, sure. But at what point do you as a gamer look at it and go, well, yeah, I could buy it for $70. I could buy Starfield right now, or I could subscribe to Game Pass and get it there. And again, it's back to the same argument we keep talking about of Game Pass Ultimate also gives you xCloud. So when xCloud is in whatever status it's in, when it gets launched in Starfield in 3, 4, 5 years, right? Like when Wi-Fi is even better, when internet's even better, when xCloud's even better, is it suddenly that thing that you still are like, I am primarily PlayStation. That's where I play all my stuff, but I want to play this game. So for $15, I am going to buy it that way and just stream it to my computer, my phone, whatever.
Yeah. Like price is going to play such a big role in this, because I think we often underestimate like how impactful that's going to be for people, especially with games going up $70 this next generation. I know for me, if we rewound back 10 years, this whole collector situation packaged together probably would have made me an Xbox person. Like knowing how much funds I had in college, knowing the money I had to work with, right? Like if I knew that if I was in the situation that I was, even in let's say 2012, where I had a PS3, my PS3 kept getting the yellow light of death, and that then converted me into like playing games on my weak laptop and my Wii for like a good 6 months to a year. Like xCloud would have changed the game for me. I would have been able to afford that and pay for that and play Xbox games and play all the games that I wanted. Like that is going to be such a big thing for so many people. And this comes back to, what does this mean for PlayStation, and how do you react to this? Is this a big enough thing for you to need to react? I think the answer is yes.
Mizuki writes into patreon.com/kindafunnygames just like you can and says, hey there, Greg and Blessing. Microsoft is buying their way into competing with Sony on a large single player experience level, or by picking up ZeniMax. How does this big of a purchase of studios, IP, and talent I've screwed this whole thing up. I have a splitting headache, by the way. Sorry, everybody. Does this big purchase of studios, IP, and talent by Microsoft put pressure on Sony at all? Or are Sony and Microsoft going in different enough directions that there is no pressure? Will Sony more aggressively acquire some third-party studios of their own in response? Thanks for all that you do, Mizuki.
I don't know what Sony's response is. I'd like to think that, yeah, you do buy up more third-party studios or you do something along those lines, but that is easier said than done. We had this conversation a little bit. There was one question during KFGD where somebody wrote in asking about, like, hey, is this the start of a bidding war? Is this the end of third party? Are both companies now going to essentially try and gain ground by grabbing up all of the big third-party publishers and developers? And that's, again, is a thing that is very easier said than done. There's somewhere on Twitter it was floating that, like, yeah, Microsoft bought Bethesda for $7 billion, right? And PlayStation's operating income over the last 7.5, thank you. Over the last like 9 years, or maybe even 7 years, has barely outpaced that. Like it's like 8 to 9 billion. And I don't know. I try to dig into that to see the validity of that, and that then led me to Reset Era and a bunch of graphs and a bunch of information. Yeah. And so take that for what you will. But like, yeah, like Microsoft as a company is a different company than Sony. Microsoft as a company has more money to throw around in that way than Sony. I don't think Sony can wake up one day and be like, all right, let's buy EA. I don't like. Can that happen years down the line? Can something set that up for that partnership to happen? Sure, but that seems a lot less plausible than what we got here, where Microsoft can open up the wallet and pay $7.5 billion in cash for Bethesda in their IPs. And so I honestly don't know what the move is for PlayStation. Like it might have to be similar to what we've seen from Microsoft over the last generation, right? Like over the course of years thing of building back and trying to hold them off and making consumer friendly choices that brings people to the side of PlayStation, even though we're starting this all off from a weird place because PlayStation is in the lead. But yeah, staring down this barrel, it's like, who knows, man.
Here's my thing is I think this does put a lot of pressure on Sony, but I don't even jump to it puts pressure on them to buy more studios. I think it puts pressure on them of, oh my God, again, look at how great Game Pass is. Because it's there's so many different pieces to it, which is why this is just state of the PlayStation 5 and how this all nets out, right? Where I think one of the most common refrains from people when they talk to us about how we review games or talk about games is, I'll sit there and like when Tim steals it from Michael Huber and I say he invented it, swimming in sevens and playing these games, right? Obviously, it's so easy for us to sit there and say we played a game and it was a 7 or a 6 and we had a lot of fun with it and I'm excited to play more. When you're like, well, you didn't put $60 into it. Like the $60, which will be $70 next year and next gen, conversation comes up and people are like, oh, you don't really understand the value of money, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I do understand that it's different not to have everything at your fingertips at the drop of an email and have it ready to go. But if that argument holds true, then you can't sit here and be Sony and look at Game Pass and not be worried about the possible coming storm that could totally miss. Because it is that idea that, Game Pass, I wouldn't say up until now, but up until recently, it's been a lot of, okay, there are older games in there. Okay, there's the first party Xbox stuff, but it's not that great. When we get to where everything's rolling in next gen in the Series X life cycle, Series S lifestyle, and you have this, hey, here is Halo Infinite. Hopefully it's amazing. Hey, here is Hellblade. Hopefully it's amazing. Hey, here is the next thing from the Coalition. Here is the next thing from the Initiative. And these games are, as Xbox would want them to be, on par with what you're getting from a Sony first party. That's when the questions really start to come. And if they're buying up studios like the Bethesda portfolio, which they have confirmed Bethesda's back catalog is now just coming to Xbox Game Pass, when it is that, here is Fallout 5. Here, when they did the Obsidian thing that made the rounds today of them getting the quote tweet of the, does this mean that Fallout New Vegas 2 could happen? And a shrug. When there is a Fallout New Vegas 2 that's maybe, and again, not even exclusive to Xbox, but is $15 versus $70, you have to look at that and be like, well, I'm going to go play it there. I'm going to go try it there. And this is Xbox's whole Trojan horse war they've been building for, of whatever it is that breaks you to get you to give them, just for a month, I'm going to give them $15, try out Game Pass Ultimate, stream it to my phone, my tablet, or whatever. And you get in there and, oh, that was great. Oh, roll to another month. Well, I'll try this game. Well, that was great. And then you try this game. And he's like, you know what? Maybe I do want to buy an Xbox, the S. I want to buy the lowest cost one, the entry model, and you get in there and go it. That's all stuff that's deviating you from PlayStation. And so to your point, yeah, this is the gamble Xbox has been building towards of, we're going to build it about services. We're going to, build it about Game Pass and then launch it that way. And so for PlayStation to be here coming off of this juggernaut success of the PlayStation 4 in a very traditional model, and this is funny because eventually I'll talk about a different game and their use of disrupting the business model. Like Xbox is in the middle of disrupting how we think of game publishing and game purchasing and consoles. And what does that look like in 5 years? Nobody knows. And the gamble from Xbox is the bet is that, hey, this is going to pay off and bring people to us. And if they have this kind of stuff, it does in a lot of ways. If they are buying more studios, it does. PlayStation can keep going through and saying, hey, we're going to do an Avengers deal for Spider-Man exclusivity. Hey, Square, we're going to do a deal where, console exclusive for Final Fantasy 16. There are those moves, but they get ripped away when somebody else can come in and buy those studios and bring them in and support them and make them part of this umbrella and ecosystem. And, no matter how big your studio is, if you're you're independent, I'm saying it for any third party that's independent right now, it all comes back to, what Tim Schafer was telling me on We Have Cool Friends about selling to Xbox, where it was this idea of like, man, we just make games and we want to make games. And it's great that we can make games now and not worry about the next game paying for the next rent check, like making sure we can just be a studio and focus on what we do great. And so that's the thing where I often talked I'd like to think as public as I can be. I'm public about what I don't know about video game development. What I do know about video game development from independent third-party developers is the fucking hustle. Where they will be at a show. And I'm talking about AA to AAA third-party developers who are at a show, at an E3, at a PAX, and they're doing a panel, they're showing a game on the floor, they're doing the stuff, but they are also going to dinners and trying to sell people on their games, trying to sell publishers on their games, trying to make deals for the next thing. Because in a similar way, I always talk about Kind of Funny, right? Like you are trying to make sure your employees are taken care of. You're trying to make sure that now, individual, but what used to be one giant roof over everybody's head. And that is a grind that wears people down and burns people out and keeps them from doing what they want to do. They got into this to make games, but if you have to go to pitch meeting after pitch meeting, if you have a great idea and you have to go there, well, is this something we could actually sell, not to the consumers, something we could sell to the publisher, right? This is the whole rigmarole and reason we saw Kickstarter take off with Double Fine even, right? Of there's audiences for these games, but how do you get out and do it? And Game Pass being this interesting low-cost entry way is a fascinating way to approach all this.
I wonder if there is a strategy change from Sony at a certain point with their first party, or if the move is to stay sturdy and deliver what Sony is delivering right now at the highest quality, and to keep throwing these punches this way. Because when I look at this Bethesda acquisition, a big part of it that speaks is, again, to Game Pass. There have been a lot of questions that we've gotten in the question boxes for I think both PSLW and KFGD about, is this now Sony or is this now Microsoft being like, hey, we are competing, hey, we are in much more direct competition in Sony than you would have thought. And my answer to that is one, they've always been in competition. It's never not been a competition. But two, this still all does speak to what their strategy has been, to everything you were just saying, right? This is all about, one, strengthening the first party, but also strengthening Game Pass and what that means. And Bethesda is such a powerful move for Game Pass because, again, when you look back at Xbox's first party, you got games like Halo, you got games like Gears, you got games like Flight Simulator and Forza, and State of Decay, and a lot of what these games have in common, especially compared to PlayStation's first party, is these are games that Xbox wants you to play over a longer period of time. People are going to play Halo or spend more hours in Halo and Flight Sim and State of Decay and those types of games more so than a Last of Us. Not because they're necessarily better games, but because
they're different, right? That's a completely different setup. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They are. I mean, some of them are live games, but for the most part, they are games meant to be experienced over a long course of time. Even a game like Tell Me Why, that game has a 3-week release schedule. It's episodic, which means they're going to keep coming back for Game Pass. Having Fallout be a part of that, having Elder Scrolls be a part of that, having these big RPGs be a part of that. I can't remember if it's called Disavowed or just Avowed from Obsidian, but having that be a part of it, right? These longer drawn out experiences are going to speak to Game Pass in a way where on the PlayStation side of things, Uncharted works, Spider-Man works, Ghost of Tsushima works as one and done experiences because there are these polished prestige titles that you come in, beat in 15 to 30 hours, and you're like, man, that was fantastic. One of the best single player campaigns I've ever played. And then you're pretty much done with it, put it away, and say goodbye. For the games that, for the big games and even the small games that Microsoft is bringing in for Xbox Game Pass, longevity seems to be the name of the game. Where, yeah, like a one and done experience works less well on selling Game Pass consistently to a consumer, right? Like for Game Pass is becoming this thing where I'm not like, all right, I'm going to pay for this for 1 month because this one game is coming out and I'm just going to play this and be one and done. It's like, no, man, like I'm going to play Elder Scrolls for a couple months. I'm going to play Halo Infinite multiplayer for a couple months, even though that's free to play. But you get what I mean? Like I'm going to jump into these games for a long period of time and play them that way. How does that reflect on the PlayStation strategy in terms of, like, what do we do? Like, do you just continue to make like Ghosts and Last of Us? Like, what do you pivot? Like, what?
I mean, it's a great question, and I don't know if they're looking at it on that level yet. You know, I think in the same way we talk about from a PlayStation perspective of like, do they need to have an answer for Game Pass? And what we've talked about it for the longest time is, well, PlayStation Now is there. And PlayStation Now has a ton of great games as well. It's not as lauded or as talked about as Game Pass because I think Game Pass is making more interesting maneuvers, acquisitions, and the first party lineup, right? But it is there that if Game Pass did hit a point where PlayStation's like, all right, this is a legitimate threat and we need to answer it, they could throw the switch and figure out how they message that and what they put into it and where they go from it. In terms of like getting in there and how does it net out on the game itself, that's an interesting question because you have seen PlayStation already start to pivot that way, right? Like Horizon isn't the normal 10 to 12 hour single player Uncharted adventure and you're off on your way. Ghost of Tsushima isn't either, right? Like there are those there. Last of Us, while longer than Last of Us Part 1, is still more traditionally what you'd imagine, right? Linear third person action, more open environments. But yeah, I see what you're talking about and know what you're talking about. I don't think PlayStation starts to worry about pivoting and making something larger that you're playing over and over and over forever and ever and ever again, the way you're talking about Halo and like, you know, a Skyrim or an Elder Scrolls. They don't worry about that, I don't think, until they need to, keep you subscribed to PlayStation Now or whatever they'd call the service. Right now, if they're still, I think it's more the idea of like, is what I've been talking about here and what the argument I would say from the audience I hear all the time is that the actual argument is gaming, and for many people, strictly about the $60, now $70. And if so, then in 2 years, when there is a Bethesda game coming to PlayStation 5, however, it is coming to Xbox, day and date Game Pass, what is it really and don't get me wrong, there's going to be a huge amount of people who are like, no, I love the PlayStation ecosystem. I love trophies. I'm going to play it there. But if there is this more, not middle ground, not console agnostic crew, if there is just this middle ground that is trying to pinch a penny, save a buck, just like you mentioned yourself, just like me in college in growing up even, right? Where for me, growing up and playing games for the most part, after, I would say, well, I don't even know. Once I hit like maybe 4th or 5th grade and it was a little bit more independence of going to the mall and doing your things and having your little wallet, it was very much for me personally I'd get the game, I'd beat the game, retire out of the game, and I would trade it in for another game. Like that's how I existed and how I was able to play as much. And then you get to college, where you're broke as hell, right? High school, where I was broke as hell. Like it was definitely that of like, when I wanted to buy something, bringing in the console and the generation before to get the money to get the new thing. Like I assume that is still such a huge case, but then you do have this other end of the spectrum now that I think is larger than ever of people like us who have grown up on games, love games, still treat them, but have disposable income. So you're not worried about, okay, cool, I have to make this choice. But even then, like how many of that disposable income crew are going to look at it and go, once they understand, once they wrap their head around, oh wait, for $15, I would get all that stuff. I'd get all these things. I'd get all these games I didn't see before that are from the back catalog.
And I don't even need the console.
Right. Not to mention even like right now, as we talk about the back catalog of Bethesda being added to Game Pass, think about now the new life that breathes into Prey, that breathes into Dishonored. You know what I mean? Things that people adored, but got not even middling reviews. They did well critically, but didn't really get bought up, right? Because I think a lot of those people would look at those and be like, that's not really a $60 game for me. Maybe I'll get it used and then they forget about it, or they never heard about it, nothing. Now it's that thing of the amount of people are going to be like, oh, I've heard people talk about Dishonored 2. Scroll over it, click it, download it, play it for a while, and maybe fall in love with it, and maybe find a new reason to make a new Dishonored, and make a Prey 2 that doesn't get canceled and turn back into Prey eventually.
So for you, where does your mind go when it comes to the state of PlayStation 5?
It's a hard one. I think like when I think of PlayStation 5 right now and I think of the state of it, right? I think it is incredibly strong. Like I think that Bethesda, with or without that news today, it's still this weird mixed message kind of thing right now where it's so interesting to have come off this state of play, or not even state of play, right? PlayStation Showcase that showed a bunch of awesome stuff that was super, super rad, that had the announcements we wanted, had price points that were attractive. You know, the digital PlayStation at $399 is a great deal. But then to have this whole debacle with pre-orders, to have this whole the words, you know, the PlayStation words of "we believe in console generations" being thrown back in your face as you see Spider-Man and Horizon 2 be on PlayStation 4 as well. This weird undercurrent of a sentiment that, again, like I know we talked about it at the top, but would lead PlayStation to tweet about this, right? Like we're reading from PlayStation's Twitter where they said, let's be honest, PS5 pre-orders could have been a lot smoother. We truly apologize for that. Over the next few days, we will release more PS5 consoles for pre-order. Retailers will share more info, and more PS5s will be available through the end of the year. I can't even stress to you how fucking nuts it is that tweet came from PlayStation. And to the point that even Charles Jacobson wrote into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and says, greetings, Blessing and Miller. PlayStation actually sent a tweet admitting PS5 pre-orders could have gone smoother. Great to see that they'll make more available, but my question is about the tweet itself. English isn't my first language, so maybe I read too much into it, but doesn't this tweet seem very unusual for PlayStation in 2020? It reads much more human than any other message they've done lately, and they really recognize that they made a mistake. Have a lovely day, Charles Jacobson. No, you're right on the money, Charles. Like PlayStation, you know, throughout this PlayStation 4 generation has started from where I always wanted them to start as of, I'm Shu, I'm Adam Boys, I'm Jack Trenton. We make PlayStation stuff and we're fun and we're human and we're great, to just being a disembodied voice that goes, all right, let's tell you the next cool thing that's coming to Crash Bandicoot 4. It sounds like the fucking thing you get before the Cinemark pre-entertainment show. Where you're like, all right, well, we took you to TBS to show you that Rizzoli and Isles are up to this. Like they've, I think in a lot of ways, washed out the humanity from the PlayStation brand. And again, don't mess with success. Nobody's out there shouting for Jim Ryan to fucking release a TikTok. Like, I understand what you're saying, but it's like they've gone so hard into that to see them have such a human message from PlayStation is, number one, great. Number two, I want more of. But number three, the fact that they did it means that they know. Like, a cacophony of you fucked up. Like, to get them off the bench to come out and be like, hat in hand, hey, we hear you. Like, that means it was even worse than we thought it was. Because, you know, the video game Twitter is an echo chamber where it is all of us talking about the same things over and over again, back and forth. So it is, we can make something look a way bigger deal than it is, or something, you know, that you've never heard of, you think everybody knows about, nobody else does outside of video games, or, you know, industry enthusiast press or whatever. The fact that it was this loud, the fact that I always bring this up, right? Poe, whose birthday it is today. We give Poe a shout out for his happy birthday. But Poe hit me up this weekend and was like, man, they really bungled these PS5 pre-order things, right? And I was like, hold the fuck on. Are you telling me you were trying to pre-order a PS5? And he's like, yeah, man, and I can't. And I was like, that is crazy. And again, to like, what's the state of the PlayStation 5? The state of the PlayStation 5 is that my friend, Poe, who I've known my entire life and literally had to drag kicking and screaming into every PlayStation generation, every new console generation on his own without texting me, was trying to pre-order PS5. That is humongous. That shows you, I think, what the state of the PlayStation 5 is. It's desired. People want it. You know, when it was all going wrong, Jen was showing me TikToks of people talking about PS5s and pre-orders. And that stuff.
I was gonna say, I mentioned this, I want to say like a week or two ago, but like I regularly scroll through TikTok, and the amount of memes and the amount of videos of people being like, oh yeah, like I'm doing this for my girl, I'm doing this for my partner to get them to buy me a PS5. Like that is a running meme that does reverberate to, oh yeah, people really want a PS5. People are talking about that thing. People are all about it. And that does lead to this, right? To where you promised pre-orders are going to be on, what was it, Thursday? Because the event was Wednesday. Yeah, we promised pre-orders are going to open up Thursday. They opened up Wednesday. And you have this clusterfuck that happens, and everybody's left like more people than you'd probably imagine are left like, what the fuck? Like, I think it does, to what you're saying, right? I think it does go beyond just video game Twitter that tweets about everything or that will complain about everything. it is the world watching, and y'all fucked up, and we're forced to put out a statement about it, which
that
is again
ridiculous.
crazy.
Yeah. And so like that's, you want to talk about what the state of the PlayStation 5 is. I think that showing on Wednesday was so strong. I think the price points are so strong. I think this pre-order is, as usual, like, you talk about these events and these consoles and these life cycles, right? This pre-order debacle and people being pissed off and the pandemonium of trying to get them is an in the moment thing that 6 months, a year from now, we might talk about how bad it was, but you're not going to sit there and be hung up on it. It just seems way amplified right now because it was so popular and it was so in demand and it was everywhere. And so then you turn your eyes to, at the time, Xbox dunking on them and putting out the tweet of like, don't worry, you'll know when and where you can get ours way ahead of time. And now what? On the eve of that, when this episode goes up, right, you'll be able to, as time rolls on, be able to pre-order your Xbox right there. And so it is that question of, cool. How much of this Bethesda stuff has influenced people to do that? How many people who were pissed off about PlayStation 5 and couldn't get one and to do that? Also, if it isn't sold out tomorrow when I'm trying to get my Xbox, when I'm trying to click on the button, does that then also go to public opinion that Xbox Series X isn't as popular as the PlayStation 5? Like, how does that net out? And these are all such in the moment things we're worrying about right now that won't be in the long run. But in this, console war and whatever you want to call this new generation of a war, there are these battles and there are these little things. And so it's this weird thing where I think PlayStation is so dominant right now, but in the same breath has so much egg on their face from what they just went through, let alone then this announcement from Xbox. And it is this, when do you see it flip? Is it going to flip this generation? Is it going to be Xbox getting back on top? How does that go? I don't know.
How do you feel about the launch lineup? That's something that we talked a little bit about last week during the post show. But of course, as everything was coming out, we had to kind of tackle everything individually. But like the launch lineup period, right? Having Demon Souls and I don't know if they said Miles Morales. Like I'm still up in the air about
Miles Morales is Insomniac has since confirmed or said yes.
Oh yeah, coming out launch day. Like given everything we just said, right? Like all the complaints, all of the weirdness, the competition gearing up in a way we've never seen before. I'm still pretty. I'm not even pretty. I'm now more excited than I was before the event for launch. Like we had the whole conversation about should they delay the PS5? Should they delay next gen consoles? And probably my biggest talking point for that was that I've never felt like I need a PS5 like this fall. I could wait for a PS5. All the games they've had announced for it seem like games that I could either play on my PS4 or games that I could wait on. With the 1-2 punch of Demon Souls and Spider-Man Miles Morales, which I know is going to be on PS4, but I'll play it on PS5 because I'm going to have a PS5. With that 1-2 punch, with Astro's Playroom, with Sackboy's Adventure, which was announced as a launch title, which is wild. The car game that I cannot think of the name of.
Destruction All-Stars.
Destruction All-Stars. Thank you. Yeah, like
Devil May Cry, Fortnite, Godfall.
Yeah, of course. And then God of War announced for next year. Like launch going into 2021 is stronger than I think we could have ever even perceived, which is great.
Yeah, it's the normal thing. I mean, piggybacking off the conversation we had 2 weeks ago and all this stuff, or 3 weeks ago for the delay. But it's like they nailed what they needed to nail, I think, which is Miles Morales is a launch title. Boom, done. And like, yes, it is on PlayStation 4, which again is a whole different ball of wax I want to get into in terms of, did they lie to us? Is the messaging convoluted? Yada, yada. In the end, the instantaneous loads and the better ray tracing and a game being Spider-Man on PlayStation 4 that was already gorgeous being more gorgeous on PlayStation 5, I'm all about. I think Demon Souls Remastered is such a brilliant launch game. I'm glad they hit that too, because again, you want to talk about a game that how many people know Souls games? How many people have looked at a Bloodborne or a Demon Souls or whatever, Dark Souls, and been like, yeah, I know those are good, but I also know they're hard and there's so much else to play. So why would I don't really want to try into it. Like that's going to be way more successful than if it had come out 2 years after, a year after even, because it's going to be I bought this new system and what's brand new for it. And also what's totally exclusive to it. And that's on that list right there, ready to go. And I think people are going to pick it up. And I think, as good as Bluepoint is at improving stuff, I think the quality of life should be to a point that even if the game's difficult, which it will be, it'll be more easy to digest, I guess. I think you're going to see a renewed conversation around that.
And it's like the one example of I'm not going to say truly next gen experience, because like who knows if it's like truly next gen or not. Like how do you even define that? Sure. But it is the game that is coming out not on PS4 as far as I understand, but who knows what happens.
They've
tomorrow.
said next gen exclusive. They've said PlayStation 5 exclusive on that.
Okay, so yeah, it's the one game that we know that's coming from them at launch that is next gen exclusive. That coming out of Bluepoint, which shout out to Bluepoint, they know how to make a game look amazing. Like the gameplay you saw of it looks fantastic. It is the game that is going to sell. That is actually leading the charge, I'll say, for PlayStation next gen in terms of, hey, this is the power of what this can do. Hey, this is something that's graphically intense, that is beautiful. Miles Morales will be that too, but Miles Morales coming on PS4, but then also I think you do have that double pronged approach also of like, hey, Miles Morales is for so many people. Spider-Man, one of the best-selling PlayStation exclusives, et cetera. Yeah. Demon Souls, I think, hits the other side of the audience. That is like, totally. All right, I want a hardcore experience. I want to suffer as I play a thing, which I think is a really good strategy.
It's again, we've gone back and forth on this so many times of like, oh man, like no matter what, they're going to sell out of PlayStation 5s, and it's because the hardcore, the people who listen to this podcast, who care about video game Twitter and all that jazz, are going to want to buy this and be into it, right? And even though you can look at it and go, well, Miles Morales is on PlayStation 4 as well, like sure, but you have this entire generation of PlayStation 4 gamers who are in it and want it and do want the next bells and whistles. And whenever there's a new console and whenever there's new tech, whenever there's something you want to buy, what do you start looking for? You start looking for reasons, right? You start looking for reasons on why you can justify spending $500 on it. And so even though Miles Morales will be on PlayStation 4, I think so many people are going to see, it's going to be in, you're not going to see a PlayStation 4 Miles Morales ad. You're going to see fucking PlayStation 5 Miles Morales ads. And I think that even if you were a parent or whoever who went down and really drilled into that to figure out that, I guess a parent's not a good excuse, actually. More if you're a gamer or whatever. If you're a kid, right? One of the things you're going to do to try to sell your parents on that on the Christmas list is, you know how much I love Spider-Man. Like this is the new Spider-Man. Like if you have the disposable income, if you're a Poe, right? It is very much yeah, I could play on a PlayStation 4, but I'm going to buy a PlayStation 5 eventually anyway. Why not get it right now? Why not play the game in the best possible state to play it in? And again, Kevin, what is next generation all about? Oh, he's doing.
He's on the other side of the room.
He's running through his house to get back. Thank you very much. What were you doing, Kevin? Where were you? I love it when you drift.
I was taking a poop.
His pants around his ankle still.
Yeah, probably. Paul's like, "What are you doing?" It is about convenience, and I think you say you're more excited than ever for your PlayStation 5. I am too, now that we have a release date and we know the price and everything like that. But again, for me, it is more, I'm so into PlayStation and this ecosystem that I'm excited for the trophies to load faster. I'm excited to be able to get into a party faster. I'm excited to go between, playing Avengers and dropping
the trophies are going to load faster? Oh, you mean like on the UI, like when you go?
Yeah. I mean exactly what I'm about to talk about. I'm in Avengers and I hit that PlayStation button and the entire screen goes blue. And then it's like, I see the cross media bars or the live area fading back up, trying to get there. And then like when I want to invite somebody to the party and it's just blue screen forever as it spins around. It's like, oh my God. Like
now, do you think that's gonna work better? Because that pings the network, right? That's like more so on the network side than on the actual hardware side, you imagine.
It's on network, but I mean, it's just between applications. Even before I think we really get into give me a loading screen on the trophies then, which I also get where my progress bar fills in. But I mean, just get me to that screen without making. Does this happen to you too? Where it's like, I want to check
whatever you're about to say. Yes.
Hit the PlayStation bar, scroll. You're on live area. Scroll up, go over to trophies, click, and as you go to click on trophies, it pushes you all the way back down to the game you're on. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh no, that doesn't happen to me. That happens to me like that. That'll happen if I click the PlayStation button. Like it'll just go back to the icon, but never just randomly.
Yeah, no.
But my PlayStation does load before every single thing in a way that frustrates me, because I'm like, why do you have to load so I can play Little Big Planet 3? Like I just want to play Little Big Planet 3. I don't know why I just take me to the separate screen.
Yeah.
Whole other thing.
Yeah, those are the things that still get me the most excited for it. You know what I mean? It is, playing the PS5 version of Avengers and hopefully, knock on wood, it loads better and loads faster kind of thing. It doesn't sound like a jet engine. Yeah. But yeah, then like Spider-Man, yes. And then Demon Souls, like I'm excited to give that another shot. I remember when Sam Bishop freelance reviewed it for me at the PlayStation team at IGN. And I remember when the review got turned in, and we're like a 9.3. What the fuck is this game? I'm excited to play that and see if this one sticks for me, if it works for me. And then on top of that, yeah, like Bug Snacks and other stuff that, like, yeah, I'm excited for launch. I'm excited to get into it. I think there's definitely enough there, but it is back. I'm glad there's stuff there that I'm excited that is brand new, but there's, again, it could be old stuff and I'd be excited. I'm excited for Valhalla. I'm excited for Watch Dogs. I'm excited to play these games on this brand new console.
While we're here, it's worth mentioning to you that Jet the Far Shore and Kena Bridge of Spirits last week both got delayed into 2021. So out of that launch window, which saddens me because I was looking forward to both those games. Still looking forward to them, obviously, but it's a bummer that I'm not going to be able to play them this fall.
I'm not sad. I'm pissed off. All right, they're on my fantasy teams. I have fantasy team games dropping like flies over here. I got 4 slots like now. 4 open slots in my fantasy team. What the hell am I going to put in there?
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like, what am I gonna? I thought about trying to put a Hades in there before it got reviews, just in case it came this year.
Oh, to PlayStation. Well, I guess we'll talk about it when we get there, because that's my question: is why isn't, and when will it come to PlayStation? Like, why isn't it on PlayStation? Well, when will it come to PlayStation?
Oh, it'll get there. Don't worry. You'll just have to wait a bit.
I learned yesterday, because I've been playing Hades. Uh-huh. I'm obsessed with it. I learned yesterday has cross save, or it's going to get cross save. If you open up the Switch applications, there's a cross save thing there. I've been playing it on PC, which is the thing I usually don't do. But I decided to do it, one, so I could make a first impressions. If we wanted to make a first impressions, that'll make that easier. But then also, I got this PC that I'm rocking. I got this wide ultra screen monitor. Why not put it to use? I cannot wait for that cross save to get activated on Switch, so I can switch back and forth. That'll be the life. But that's not PlayStation, and so
I appreciate it though. But it will be eventually. Mark your calendars. It's coming eventually. Hades will.
Do you think they're waiting to get like that next gen boost? Do you think that this might be a launch situation?
Nah, I think it's a deal with Nintendo.
Oh.
I think they already had the Epic money from being early access there forever. And I think that then when they came out early access, they did a shop around and went to everybody. And I bet Nintendo had the best, like, we'll give you this and we'll give you that and we'll give you this kind of placement and this kind of amount of money and we'll go for it from there. IMO. And then you keep them all there. You drive to Switch, which obviously is like the indie machine, nowadays. And cross save being there too. Like, I think there's so many different ways to double dip on that. And I wouldn't be surprised if part of it was like, hey, why don't we let the next gen transition happen? Like, there's no reason getting involved in that, right? Because I'm sure it is happening that people are, man, I want to play Hades. I want to play whatever game that's dropping, but I'm saving my money for the PlayStation 5. All right, then and then is also these games going to work on PlayStation 5? And is there cross save and this, that, and I'm sure they're just like wait it out.
It seems like a good time. Like I'll say early next year feels like a good time for them to be like, all right, now we're coming to Xbox One, Xbox Series S, PlayStation, totally. PlayStation 5. Because that's a game that should be everywhere. That's a great game.
It will be. Supergiant's known for that. They'll get it there. Don't worry. We eventually got Bastion. We'll be fine. We can get this.
That's true.
I'm not worried. But don't wait if you can. If you have the means, go play Hades wherever you can because it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I have a question from Paul here that I like. Paul wrote in to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, just like you can, to be part of PS I Love You XOXO, and says, longtime listener, first time writer. Since pre-orders were like the Wild West with PlayStation, not really commanding the situation, and Walmart supposedly jumping the gun, etc., if they had ended the stream with pre-orders available now, would there be less negativity to how it all went down, or would they need to have given more warning like Xbox? So as you said, of course, and I know I don't need to recap it for most people, but just nutshell approach, right? PlayStation's event finishes last week on Wednesday. There's no information in the video about pre-orders. Then Jeff Keighley breaks the information about pre-orders, saying it'll be tomorrow. Then what was it? Internationally, they start popping. Then Walmart goes. Then Target, and then it's just Best Buy goes, and it's just a domino effect. Amazon goes at like 9 p.m. or whatever, our time Pacific. Would you think a better approach have been just, hey, pre-orders are available now?
Yeah, if they went pre-orders will be available starting today, that would have made the situation better, but still a trash fire. Like, people would have still been upset. People would have still been referencing the video from months ago where somebody from PlayStation is like, hey, we're not gonna let pre-orders go up. It was Eric. He saying, hey, like PlayStation pre-orders won't just go up within a minute's notice, right? We'll give you some heads up. That will still happen, but I think that would have then maybe led to them not having to put out an apology. Like, I think them being like them saying pre-orders will go up tomorrow and then pre-orders going up today, like that warrants an apology. That warrants them being like, all right, we fucked up. Like this was not even out of our control, but we should have had a better handle on this. But I almost think there's no way to do this in a way where people don't get screwed. Like even with the Xbox pre-order situation, like we know the date and time that's going to happen. That's still going to be a trash fire. Like people are still
sites are still going to crash. You're still going to have the same thing where you go in and it's got the wrong credit card and you refresh and it eats the thing and you're kicked out and
your bank is still going to decline it.
Yeah,
which happened to me and made me really pissed because I had it secured. I had it secured from Walmart. I bought it and I was like, boom, done. Sat back, was sitting next to Michael. Was like, Michael, I did it. I'm about to go to Pizza Hut, order a pizza to celebrate. Got a text. My bank was like, hey, we noticed something.
Fraud alert.
Weird. Yeah, fraud alert. And I was like, wait, what? What was that?
Where's there a Pizza Hut?
There's a Pizza Hut in Daly City.
Get the fuck out. All right, I'm gonna go find it.
Yeah, no, it's great. I highly recommend the actually I don't know if I highly recommend. I had their cheese sticks. They're good. They're like good enough.
WWE superstar Xavier Woods, you're live on PS I Love You XOXO. How are you?
Oh. I'm so sorry. I'm great. How are you?
No, it's fine. I'm never sure if it's part of the show that you're calling for or if you're just like doing stuff.
No, I had like a legitimate question, but I can call you later.
Okay, before you go, what do you think about Pizza Hut pizza? Because Blessing's talking about that right now.
Pizza's delicious. Why would you eat anything else other than DiGiorno?
Oh, look at him. He's a class act. All right, we love you, Austin. We'll talk to you later.
I love you too, man.
I did have a Twitter back and forth with, I believe it was Luis Medina of Rooster Teeth.
Sure.
He's married to a lovely Nigerian woman, and he was mentioning how he was having an argument with her because she said that Pizza Hut pizza is the best pizza. And he was like upset about that on Twitter. I read that and I was like, she's not wrong. I love Pizza Hut pizza.
Right, come on. Best pizza though? Come on. Blast. Come on. Like even
I'm not saying that I have a good opinion here.
Fast food pizzas, Round Table is still king of the fast pizza, you know?
No, I prefer Pizza Hut. I love me some Pizza Hut. But after
Here's
I tweeted
the thing
that,
about Round Table.
Even Iffy from Rooster Teeth, I think he's with Rooster. I have no idea what he does. Iffy, the friend Iffy, everybody knows Iffy.
Sure.
Also Nigerian, was tagged in by Luis because Luis was like, Iffy, speak some sense into your people. Iffy was like, nope, they're right. Pizza Hut, best pizza. And so I don't know if it's a Nigerian thing or what, but
here's what I'll do, Kevin. I just don't put Round Table into this conversation because they're the last honest pizza. And they're like, are they just California? Are they just West Coast? I'm not sure their deal.
I have no idea.
It's that thing is I'd never heard of a Round Table until I moved here. And so I don't think they're able to get up there and compete with a Domino's, Pizza Hut, Little Caesars argument kind of thing.
Yeah,
and to your point, Round Table, fantastic pizza, by the way.
Little Caesars, I don't even think I'd put on the same tier.
But here's the thing:
as like the type of pizza.
Well, remember Little Caesars because they fell down. They used to be a normal place where you ordered it. Now they're just like, you know what? Just show up.
Now they're like, fuck it. $5 hot and ready. Fuck it. It's yours.
I feel like that has a place. You know what I mean?
No.
Oh yeah, it does
deserve to exist. Yeah,
dude, I used to love Little Caesars back in the day. Yeah. I got a text, by the way, from Michael Hyam saying maybe a little bit purple too, talking about the Halloween.
Shut up,
colors.
Michael Hyam.
He saw the tweets or something, and now he's been like,
exactly.
Oh, I guess I should include purple.
Yeah, exactly. He's out there trying to be a revisionist history. Today, Blessing, before we went live, or actually, I guess 9:30 in the morning before we went live, I put up a tweet for PS I Love You XOXO today. Did you get a PS5 pre-order? The breakdowns go like this: 46%, about 20,000 people. I guess more like about 17,000 people voted because it's a little bit over, so I'm rounding down. But of 17,000 people, 46% said yes, they got a pre-order. 19% no, I tried and failed. And then 35% said no, I didn't try.
Wow.
I have no interest in it.
That percentage is higher than I thought. As far as people that tried and failed, I would have figured that percentage would have been lowered, or lower. But
you think that the 19% for tried and failed is high for you?
It's a bit, yeah. Because I guess context is everything, right? Because I think like if you were planning on pre-ordering one and you happen to have been asleep, you could have missed the pre-orders. Like that's how quick things went, and that's how unfortunate this whole pre-order situation was for the PS5, where there was like a 4-hour window, 5-hour window where things were happening, where Walmart put it up, and then Best Buy put it up, and then Target put it up, and all this stuff happened at Amazon.
Yeah.
And then Best Buy
again. And then Best Buy again, and then Target again, and then Walmart again. And so like that was unfortunate. But I feel like if you were paying attention during those windows and like you kept refreshing and doing the thing. I know there are people that missed out because that's the luck of the draw, but I feel like more often than not, you should have been able to get one if you're like active in that moment. Because I was able to get one from Target and then Walmart.
You say that though, and that's the thing is like I feel like you're right. I personally I wish and think they should have done and pre-orders are available now, and like they would have had the Lempel thing thrown back in their face of like you said it wouldn't surprise. And granted, they could have not said that, or they could have put up a tweet of like, if you're interested in pre-ordering a PlayStation 5, you should pay attention to the video tomorrow, right? Like, that would be an easier way around it too. Because I think there was part of us that were all like, is it about to happen? Is it going? Is this? And when it didn't happen, and they ended the thing saying it wasn't going to happen, and then Jeff Keighley said, "All right, they're going to be tomorrow." I saw people after the fact, the first round or two of these saying like, I went to pick up my kid. I went to do whatever. I took a nap and I woke up and it was over. That fucking sucks. And then in the same breath, we were lucky to get a bunch of pre-orders, right? Because obviously we're trying to take care of ourselves and the studio and the teammates and all that stuff. So like we're getting multiples. And I was talking to somebody when I was like, oh yeah, I have a couple. They're like, oh my God, what's your secret? And I was like, well, I'm just online. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was just that thing of like tweet alerts for Wario 64, but I also had Lucy on her GameSpot Slack, us on Kind of Funny Slack, Jen with Papa Agenda Slack. So it was like
I just feel like lucky
there was this conversation around
word,
it. No, it wasn't luck. It was just being being dialed in a way most people aren't.
Like Tim sat there all day, and granted, he was gonna sit there all day regardless, but he sat there all day refreshing, Best Buy, and all the other stores, looking for it.
Yeah, I did get super screwed from Walmart though.
I guess what I'm saying
that decline happened, and I wasn't able to get one again. And now I'm confused on whether or not I have this pre-order or not, because I didn't get an email from Walmart saying, "Hey, your card declined. You're not getting this pre-order." I still have that. I think I still might have this pre-order.
Well, call Walmart. Same thing. Like if you're gonna make a purchase like this, call your bank and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna buy this thing. It's like $500, probably from Walmart."
Probably from Walmart.
Yeah. But like, because they can put notes in there so it doesn't get declined.
Mm-hmm.
So now this leads me to my second. Well, I guess second thing I'm jumping off of this 19th thing of the state of the PS5. All right. Manny Thorne writes in to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, just like you can, and says, is Sony being disingenuous with their PlayStation 5 communication? Hey guys, longtime fan, listening since Roper actually read the Roper report. It feels like since the showcase last week, Sony has been exposed as potentially being a little disingenuous with their messaging. They had built their next-gen plans around having, quote, clear generations and having actual console exclusives. But all of a sudden, there are tentpole games on PS4 and PS5, and some even coming on PC. They also seem to have released a digital-only version in seemingly extremely low quantity to be able to say they have an answer to the Series S. Now, I have my PS5 pre-ordered, parentheses, don't even get me started on the fiasco. But I have to say this wishy-washiness from Sony is starting to leave a bad taste in my mouth. And I feel like I'm losing a little trust in Sony. What are your guys' thoughts? Is Sony being too disingenuous?
I don't even know, man. I'm in a similar place as far as I'm not gonna say I'm frustrated. I'm just like, how like the other guys are just doing it so much better than you are right now in terms of being communicative and clear on what's happening here. Like coming out of the PlayStation event last week, where it was incredible. Like we got announcements for games that made us all excited. Final Fantasy 16, another trailer on Resident Evil 8 Village, God of War, all that stuff. We came out of that event super hyped and like ready to go and like, very excited about what the future of PlayStation was. After that, where it was Jeff Keighley giving us updates on things that we should have gotten, where we getting the price for not only we got the price for the console in the thing, but getting the price for games right afterwards. Yep. Getting the, hey, these games are also coming to PS4 afterwards. Getting the, hey, pre-orders happening here afterwards, made me go, what are you guys doing? Like, why is Jeff Keighley delivering this information, and why wasn't a lot of this information in the presentation? Like it very much felt like they were trying to hide certain things, but then also like on the other hand, there are certain things that didn't need to be hidden as far as like
totally.
There's some good information that came out afterwards that could have been in your press conference that you didn't give us. Like why wasn't that there either? It almost felt more like incompetence than them being malicious with it. And I don't like I don't think PlayStation is incompetent, and so I really don't know how to read it.
The problem, so there's an interesting conspiracy theory a friend floated to me after all this happened, and I haven't been on a show to talk to you about it, I don't think, Bless. The idea was this, though, that if you go back and watch the showcase, at no point does Jim Ryan say anything about the specific price or date. That information is just presented on a slide. The trailers for the games like Demon Souls, which we didn't know was a launch title till after the fact, don't mention it's a launch title. Spider-Man still says holiday, yada yada yada. And there's counter arguments to all this, but stick with me. The interesting conspiracy theory that was fed to me that I was like, was that this showcase had been filmed and assembled way earlier, but was being held on to wait till Xbox went, so that they could see what they had, then come out and do their thing. So you figure by doing that right, you don't have Jim Ryan say any prices or dates just in case something changes. You don't have him say pre-order now just in case something changes. You don't put a pre-order now slide in there or pre-order tomorrow or pre-order whatever, because we can cover that with a blog post. We can cover that with a news thing. We can do whatever after the fact. You don't put dates on the trailers because, hey, maybe they slide, maybe things happen. When they're doing this, maybe Demon Souls is trying to be a launch title, and maybe they don't know it will be. You just have that one slide with prices and dates so that could be moved in and out at any time, and that's the one change you would have to worry about, with the exception of forgetting that Demon Souls is not coming to PC, and you put that in there and you have to delete that later, right? Like, I can see that was the idea. You waited to do it, but then again, if I knew that thing is down to the second and at 2:00 it's going to be over with, or 1:45, I would have the blog locked and loaded and the press releases locked and loaded of here's the price, here's the release date, here are the games that are launching with it, here is the pre-order information, here's all the stuff. And the fact that it ended like that and we were all like, oh, okay. And then it was Jeff being like, hey, hold on, you're probably wondering about pre-orders. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Here's
why is it like this, right?
You see that tweet?
Yeah.
What's up, Kevin?
Did PlayStation come out later and like say, oh yeah, no, it's tomorrow? Like,
yes, it was PlayStation that said the pre-orders are tomorrow. I think
it wasn't.
It all jumbles together. I think Jeff was like, hey, stay tuned for pre-order information, and then I think PlayStation after that was like, hey, tomorrow.
I thought Jeff said. Oh, I think. It gets confusing because I think they both said tomorrow eventually. I think Jeff beat.
Maybe they did.
Jeff beat them though, because I remember John Drake dunking on PlayStation's official Twitter when they said it and going, "Jeff Keighley scooped you by 7 minutes."
Yeah,
I think technically they both said it, but Jeff was first.
Gotcha.
Chat, correct me if I'm wrong.
Gotcha.
It's a fucked up thing, dude. Like, I don't understand what happened over there either. And I don't think they're incompetent either. So it is that thing of like, wait, what the fuck? How did this happen?
And I buy the idea. I buy the idea that this was made forever ago, right? Because like there have been the reports that a PlayStation event was going to happen in August, and we kept expecting something to happen in August, and it just didn't happen in August, and now it's mid-September. There are reports also that Microsoft and Sony were playing chicken with the console prices, and I think that lines up also. Like, I think if you start to put these puzzle pieces together, then yeah, I could very well see this presentation being a thing that was pre-recorded, a while ago, let's say July, and what did have slides slotted in or portions of it slotted in for September.
That I think is ridiculous. I don't think it was that far out. I think maybe end of August. And again, this is just a crazy conspiracy theory. Maybe working on something as small as the game showcase, and something as big as EA Play, the down to the wire nature of video game trailers makes me think it wasn't that they've been sitting on it since July, as much as it was like, hey, we're gonna do it the first week of September, right? And then that slipped. Then it was like, we know we're gonna do it somewhere in these parts of September, maybe end of August. And again, what the fuck do I know? Maybe you're right.
Yeah, who knows? I'm just like, it's just the fact that Demon Souls didn't even have the at launch thing is the thing that throws me off, because I'm like, how do you not know that? Like, maybe a week or 2 weeks before this. But who knows? Like, it is a back and forth that they're having right now, and so again, who knows?
Who knows? The Shadow knows. Remember that?
No.
Remember the Shadow?
Like Shadow the Hedgehog?
No, the Alec Baldwin movie.
I don't know.
I never watched The Shadow, but I remember the commercial, and that was Who Knows
Greg,
the Shadow.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Alec Baldwin was the Shadow.
The guy from 30 Rock.
Correct. That is correct. Yeah, you nailed it there. Blessing.
Greg.
to wrap this all up, what's the state of the PlayStation 5?
Wyoming.
I hate you.
That's the worst joke I've ever made.
It was good. I thought. I mean, it wasn't a good joke, but it wasn't a bad joke. You know what I mean? Like,
thank you.
That's good.
I mean, do you have a 1-sentence answer for what the state is of the PlayStation 5?
Strong but interesting.
Okay.
Holy shit!
I think that they're gonna have a gigantic launch that's gonna go really well, but it is that thing of like, you look to the horizon and it is like, man, what is gonna happen with PlayStation doing what they do? This is us. This is how we launch consoles. And then Xbox being like, we bought Bethesda, play it anywhere, have fun. Everything's $15. Like, I don't know how that fight nets out.
We'll see.
Do you think there's any chance that tomorrow everything just breaks?
Yes,
of course.
I don't.
And Sony is like, oh hey, by the way, our store is good right now if you want to go buy more PlayStation 5s.
I didn't even know you were talking about the Xbox pre-order situation. I thought you were just talking about period
2020.
Yeah, like I do think there's a chance tomorrow everything just breaks. that's how this year is going.
Blessing, hit me with the X's and O's.
I want to start off. Well, actually, I'll fill this in. I want to start off with PlayStation updates. We were feeding these into the actual topic of the show, and so we pretty much touched on all of them except for this last one, which is Bloomberg versus PlayStation. Last week, Bloomberg reported that Sony's cutting their PlayStation 5 forecast by 4 million units. It was Takashi Mochizuki at Bloomberg who wrote, Sony Corp has cut its estimated PlayStation 5 production for this fiscal year by 4 million units down to around 11 million, following production issues with its custom designed system on chip for the new console, according to people familiar with the matter. Following this report, shares dropped for PlayStation, which, and this is me putting puzzle pieces together, I believe prompted Sony to come out and be like, yo, we have not changed the production number for the PS5 since the start of mass production. We're all good over here. And so, like, who's telling the truth? Who's lying? Who knows? But to keep you up to date on the happenings, there you go.
I talked about it earlier last week, I guess, in general. And it was just like, I remember reading this and being like, wow, it's a big deal that Sony's coming out to comment about this. And then it was the stocks dipped. So, like, of course, they had to come out and say something, whether, who knows what exactly, who's right, who's wrong.
I think it's illegal to make a statement like that isn't true, right? Because that's lying to the
Probably.
stockholders.
Probably.
I don't know. Maybe that's
wait.
Just
Yeah. But I mean, okay. So you're saying it's illegal for Sony to say we have not changed the production number,
right?
Yeah, but when did? So yeah, but and I'm not.
Well,
even
like, what are the technicalities in this truth?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What they
Since the start of mass production, when did you start mass production? You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm sure what they're saying is technically true to some extent, but it's like, okay, how do these dominoes fall? Earlier in the year, like it was reported by also Bloomberg, I believe, that you guys raised your forecast from up to 15 million, and so now you're lowering it back again. When did all this happen? Who knows? But there you go. I got some PlayStation picks, Greg.
PlayStation picks.
Of course, this is where we highlight a few cool-looking games that are coming to PSN this week. The big one is Mafia Definitive Edition that hits Friday, September 25th, and I believe Barrett Courtney is very excited about it. We had a first impressions on it.
The first impression is up, and yeah, he confirmed today on Twitter that he has it and is playing it, and that's all he can say.
Sweet.
So look for that soon.
And this first impression is also from like last month too, if you're looking for it. It's not like a new one, but you can check it out, see what his impressions were for the preview, and I'm sure he'll have more to say on that later. Aside from that, I have 3 games I want to holler at.
3 games.
Starting with 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim for PS4. This one's coming out Tuesday, September 22nd. Published by Sega, Vanillaware, the storytellers behind Odin Sphere and Dragon's Crown, craft a sci-fi mystery spanning 13 intertwining stories in 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Uncover the truth and delve into a 2D side-scrolling adventure featuring gorgeous art and environments, then battle the kaiju in fast-paced top-down combat. Customize the Sentinels with an arsenal of mech suit weaponry and fight to defend humanity. Basically, it looks like Pacific Rim meets Persona 5 meets Front Mission. I'm even gonna add, I think it also looks like it meets Octopath Traveler when they talk about like the 13 intertwining stories. But
I love Vanillaware PS2 stuff, right? So Grim Grimoire, and then Odin Sphere, right? These were games I remember making such a big impact over here. But my thing about it is I don't understand the gameplay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get this part where it's visual novel running around, but then it's like top down, like what we just saw. I don't understand what I'm doing in the game. And I know you
Like the
flipped out
plot or like the actual like the gameplay.
the game, right? Where I'm shooting shit from
Yeah.
whatever. I don't. Okay.
I want to try it out because it looks cool and I've heard good things about Vanillaware.
Yeah.
But I'm with you too that like the visual novel portion, I'm all in on it. It seems cool. I understand what's going on here. But yeah, I look at the gameplay and I'm like, all right. Traditionally, I'm not a strategy person. Like this isn't my type of game.
Sure.
But
that was an accident. Sorry.
I don't worry. Can't make an omelet. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But yeah, like I don't know. We'll see. It looks interesting. I'm not sure all of what's going on there also.
Understandable.
We also got Going Under, which is coming out on PS4 Thursday, September 24th. Going Under is a roguelite-inspired dungeon crawler about exploring the cursed ruins of a failed tech startup. You'll wield office junk as weapons as you battle your way through the forsaken office complexes. Stab a demon with a thumbtack one moment, run over a goblin with a smart car the next. Your options in combat are constantly changing. This is another one that I think looks really cool. I really like the art style of it. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this was like part of Sony's indies thing, like when they talk about indies on the PlayStation blog. And
we had heard about this a while ago and seen some stuff about it. Kevin, I have a question. With the new setup that is the pandemic, are you able to mute me for the live people but keep me rolling for the on-demand people?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
If I mute you, it mutes you overall. There's no.
No, I figured as much.
Audio, I could show people stuff.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't know.
It's like I'm doing what I'm doing right now.
If we cut the stream for the YouTube people and then went back to streaming it, because you'd still do you have to end the stream in YouTube, right?
I think that should work, but it also could break everything.
Hey, everybody who's watching live, we want to end the stream for a second for you, and then you can catch this portion on tomorrow's PS I Love You, and then we should come back from it. And if we don't, oops.
All right, I'm going to cut the stream now.
Okay.
All right, we're still rolling. You're so smart. You figured this out.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of those I meant to ask you beforehand, but in classic Greg kind of funny fashion, forgot until we got to this moment, like this precipice. And so then I could do it. So, hey, everybody, the embargo's up for this game Going Under when you see this on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and podcast services. And here's my thing. I reached out to the PR company, right? And I was like, hey, I want to talk about it today, but our timing schedule is weird. I've only played 30 minutes of this game, maybe 45, but from this morning while you guys were doing games daily, I spent that time playing it or whatever. Super stoked to get back to it.
Oh, really?
Super stoked. Because I had seen it and thought the idea was cool, right? We'd seen the trailer. You just did the roguelike dungeon crawling aspect of it. In the trailer, of course, and what the game is you're an intern at this tech company that is Fizzle, which is like, it's basically like a LaCroix, but it's a LaCroix that you can drink for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it like takes care of you or whatever. And it almost, I have a feeling, is going to be it'll be the same thing as Watch Dogs 2, where Watch Dogs 2 was such an amazing satire of San Francisco that if you didn't live in San Francisco, you might not get it. And the same thing here of like somebody working in Silicon Valley and talking about their apps and disrupting the marketplace and how shitty interns are treated. It might not ring as true to you, just the stuff, but I find the dialogue hilarious. I think the art is really well done. Like you saw a bit of it there of the way the characters talk to each other. And then when you run through, it's colorful and crazy. It's funny to come off of Hades, which is similar, obviously, of doing different runs, trying to do whatever, and jump right into this and enjoy it for not completely different reasons, but way more for me about the narrative. It's the narrative in the world that's surrounding it, because the gameplay is there, right? Like you said, you can pick up all sorts of different items in the world to use. You have 3 items at any time. They break over time, so like you can pick up the tablet pen is what I've been using a lot because it electrifies people. You can get the potted plant like you were mentioning. You can get keyboards, and then once you use it enough, it breaks and falls away. But it's simple to get into and get your bearings on, and then you start adding all the stuff onto it, right? Because it is a dodge roll, it is the attack, it is the pickup, it is being able to throw stuff. And then as you start to go into it, you start to acquire different skills on your runs that you have, right? So there's like clap back, which is of course the clap emoji from your phone. And if you get hit, you knock everybody down, right? And then you can get disruptive, so critical moves electrify people. And then one of the really ones I liked before I left was like there's stores in there, and like you're going into this dungeon of failed apps, right? Like different startup. So like there's going to be different themes to them. We already knew, but like you go into one of the little item stores there, and there's like a coffee shop you'd find in a building that is running this kind of like tech startup shit. And like you talk to the monster behind it, like, are you gonna fight me? Or like, no, I'd be bad for business. Like, what do you want to buy instead? It's got that kind of humor to it. There's a guy called the Entrepreneur. So like you can buy all these different upgrades for you, obviously, on your run to be better, fill your health, do whatever. But when you get to the Entrepreneur, he actually he has this whole funny dialogue of like, is it, that you can get stuff from me, but will it be worth the price? And so basically, instead of seeing what item you could possibly get, you're presented with a curse that you'd put on yourself. So like for me, it was like the one I got when I ran into him, the one and only time I saw him on my 3 or 4 runs when I started this game, was like, okay, my weapons will do less damage now for 3 different rooms. And when I once I accepted the curse, behind him, this thing went up and there was items there for me to take then to apply to my character or do whatever. And so then it's like this cool push and pull, and it was keeping me on my toes, and I went. Like I said, just 30 to 45 minutes of gameplay, but it's one of those like putting it down to do interview. I was like, fuck, I want to play more of this. So I'm excited to get back to it this evening. So that's just super top level. If for some reason Cool Greg breaks the embargo and puts this up early, it's just a great, I'm kidding. No, it's I'm excited to play more. I don't know if it's going to be like a piece of bubble gum where I chew it up and, 2 hours in, I'm like, oh, I've kind of gotten everything out of it, but colorful, fun to play, interesting, challenging on trying to keep myself alive and going through and see my hearts go up and stuff. So
that's awesome. I was really looking forward to jumping into this one. But then Hades came out and kind of ruined my chances, which kind of sucks because this looks like a really cool game. The art style is awesome, and I absolutely enjoy roguelites. And I hope to get to this at a certain point. Maybe I'll boot it up and play like 30 minutes or something. But yeah, Hades came through and stole its thunder, which is unfortunate, I feel like, for this game.
Well, it's one of those interesting things, of course, like going under, not yet. Hades not on PlayStation 4, right? And I think that's an interesting thing. Of, like, if you are in that roguelike dungeon crawling thing, like, this is your option now. And I think at first glance and first taste, I'm enjoying it quite a bit and can't wait to get back to it. Now you can go back, Kevin. Thank you.
Budget Cuts is coming to PSVR Friday, September 25th. Put on your PlayStation VR headset to unleash your inner office spy ninja skills and save both your job and your life in this unique PS4 stealth game. As an employee at mega conglomerate Transcorp, your role is as a paper shuffling filer has been put under threat by the arrival of cost-cutting robots. And as your latest coworker has been dragged off to the terrifying HR department, your only chance to survive is to take matters into your own hands. Of course, this came out on other VR platforms. Jamie Feltham at Upload VR reviewed it when it came to Oculus, and they said, at its best, Budget Cuts is a gleeful stealth playground that thrives on the spontaneity it demands of the players. At times, it will have you holding your breath as you crouch under cubicles and then cackling with laughter as robots run headfirst into a pair of scissors. But it's a game that can also succumb to the weight of its lofty ambitions, constantly wrestling with irritating bugs, imperfect systems, and coming up light on content. It took 2 years for Budget Cuts to come out, but I can't help wishing we'd all been a little more patient. Well, now it's out for PSVR, and so if that sounds up your alley, there you go.
That looks like a GoPro game if I've ever seen one. Dealing with the portals, jumping around, Kevin, that seems like something you'd want to break.
Honest to God, I was just thinking that. Thinking that. So
I know my baby.
If we ever request it, let's get one more code in there for me.
You got it.
Of course.
What is up, Kind of Funny Games family? This is your good pal Scott Porter, friend of the show, and Greg Miller's here to talk about an amazing virtual event I am hosting this Saturday, September the 26th, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific to support the Huntington's Disease Society of America and their quest to help families battling Huntington's disease all across this country, including my very own. Have you ever wanted to get on a private Zoom call with Greg and just drink some paint can and talk about anything your little heart desires? Well, guess what? We have an auction that is open right now at hdsa.org/bid, where you can go and bid on that very item. You can also go and bid on custom Cuphead Xbox One consoles, Taco Bell Xbox One consoles, the Amazing The Last of Us Part 2 Ellie Edition signed by Troy Baker and the like. We have sports memorabilia, video game stuff, tabletop stuff, experiences, in-home dining. We have a ton of amazing items that you can go bid on right now. If you want to join us for the show, you can go to hdsa.org/freezehd. We have live music, guest appearances by Rachel McAdams and Bryce Dallas Howard, and even more. So join us that night, hdsa.org/freezehd, to take part in the show and hopefully donate. And if you love any of the auction items, please go to hdsa.org/bid and bid now. take Greggy home for the night. Why not? All right, peace.
Greg, I have in here at the end of X's and O's a secret segment. Yeah. I got a secret segment here. It's gonna be a one-time thing, unless it's like a complete hit, and then we'll adopt it into the thing.
Kind of funny. He's been looking for a hit for a while, so I don't know.
Exactly. A secret segment called "Blessing Quizzes Greg." I don't like this at all. As I was surfing through the web in search of PlayStation updates, PlayStation news, all the stuff to go into the X's and O's, I came across a Push Square article titled. God. How closely were you watching the PS5 showcase? They have 10 questions here, which are going to test your knowledge of how closely were you paying attention to the PlayStation 5 showcase that was last week.
Oh, Greg, shit. Fuck. Yeah, I'm listening.
How many questions do you think you can get out of 10?
Can I ask questions before you go into it?
Sure.
Like, how hard are they? Like, because it's one of those things. Like, is this going to be like, what color was the shirt of this kid? Like, I don't know.
I'm going to tell you, it's exactly that. It's multiple choice though, if that helps. It's like it's
okay.
Four
choice.
Okay.
I'll do it.
All right. This is again Push Square. Robert Ramsey put this thing together. So shout out to Robert Ramsey. Question number 1: which was the first summon shown in the Final Fantasy 16 trailer? Was it Ifrit, Shiva, Phoenix, or Titan?
The answer was Shiva, because you all screamed about Shiva for a while.
Wrong. The answer is Titan. They say all 4 of these recurring Final Fantasy summons were shown in the Final Fantasy 16 trailer, which made for quite the spectacle. It's Titan that appears first, though, just after he crushes.
Why'd you guys shout about Shiva for so long?
Shiva came through second. I personally do not recognize Titan. Shiva I do recognize from Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and I also recognized Ifrit, but like he was toward the end, I think. So that's on you. That's on you.
Guys, you yell, everybody. Fuck off. I don't care.
Question number 2: which villain was shown in Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales gameplay demo?
Tinkerer.
The Tinkerer. That is correct. Complete with many technologically.
If it's gonna be like that, if you're gonna ask me Miles questions, let's go. Come on now. You're gonna ask me fucking Cloud pulled out his Buster Sword and touched this thing. I don't know what the fuck's going on in the game.
Right now, you got 1 question correct out of 2. What was the first location shown in the Hogwarts Legacy trailer? Was it the Great Hall, Gryffindor Common Room, Headmaster's Office, or the library? Is it Great Hall, Gryffindor Common Room, Headmaster's Office, or the library?
I feel like it's hold on. I feel like it's Great Hall. I feel like it's Great Hall, but maybe that was the second. Maybe from the outside, because I felt like they showed the outside of Hogwarts. Does that not count first?
I mean, they don't have it as an option.
I'm saying Great Hall.
Great Hall?
Because I know what that is with the fires, the lights.
Correct. The answer is Great Hall. How could you open on anything but the iconic Great Hall? This is Push Square speaking. Hogwarts Legacy looks set to perfectly capture the atmosphere of the school, as evidenced by the numerous locations we saw revealed in the trailer. So there you go. You got 2 out of 3 so far. Question number 4: in which year is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War set? Is it 1979, 1975, 1981, or 1969?
I mean, it's 81 because it's the Cold War, right? So it's the 80s. Well, then Reagan's in 81.
Correct. The answer is 81. That was a good poll. I was waiting for you to mention Reagan. We went to the moon in 1969, though, which is a fun fact. The reason I know that, there was an episode of Even Stevens. It was the musical episode. They had a whole song about how we went to the moon in 1969.
Not history class.
Not history class, no. It was Even Stevens. It was an episode of Even Stevens. It was a great song, too. Question number 5. In the Resident Evil Village trailer, a large enemy was seen carrying a huge weapon. What was this weapon? Was it a hammer, chainsaw, shotgun, or sword?
Can you read the question and the thing? Because you're saying an enemy, right? So not the character I play as, right?
Yes. In the Resident Evil Village trailer, a large enemy was seen carrying a huge weapon. What was this weapon? Hammer, chainsaw, shotgun, sword. It's tough.
For me, it's between chainsaw and hammer. But for the record, I don't remember either. He's already large. I'm going to say chainsaw because he's large. So he'd have a large chainsaw.
Incorrect. The answer is hammer. You're almost there. Yeah. Push Square here writes, if you got this one right.
Did you take this quiz? How did you do?
I got 7 out of 10.
Fuck. How many do I have?
So far you have, let's see, one.
How many have I
two.
missed, I guess?
You
2?
missed 2 out of 5. So yeah, you
Okay.
have 3.
I gotta go perfect from here to beat you.
Exactly. They mentioned if you got this one right, you're either very lucky or watching the Resident Evil Village trailer very, very closely. The enemy in question appears for only a split second, but he's clearly wielding a massive hammer, perfect for smashing human skulls, we imagine. Question number 6. 2 assassination targets are shown in the Deathloop trailer. Which one appears second? Is it Alexis, Billy Ray, Igor, or Colt? Which assassination target is shown second? We got Alexis, Billy Ray, Igor, or Colt.
I'm Colt, right? Isn't that, and that's not my pick. Don't click it.
Mhm.
Don't say anything. Don't lock it in.
Of course. I don't know if you're Colt. I mean, I do know, but I'm not going to say.
I think it was Alexis.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
Correct. Yeah, that's correct. Another tricky question since the latest Deathloop trailer shows 2 different runs, and Alexis is the first target to get iced in the later attempt. But
hold on,
he's the second.
Cool. Sorry, you can keep talking. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. But he's the second target to actually appear in the trailer. Igor is shown before him in the first run.
Okay, yeah. So Colt is who you're playing as. At least
yeah, Colt is the main character, or at least the dude. I don't know if you play as the lady that keeps appearing at the end of each trailer, talking about, oh man, I'm still here.
I think they've confirmed that, haven't they? I thought they confirmed.
Probably. I think they might have confirmed
it
at the first one, like at the first reveal, that like it's a back and forth kind of thing. Question number 7. Virgil has a number of special abilities, but which one was not shown in the Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition trailer? Is it
fuck off?
Is it summoning V by stabbing himself? Is it shooting swords made of energy? Is it generating a force field around himself? Or is it making a clone of his devil form?
Which was not shown.
Stabbing
V. What's the stabbing himself?
Summoning V by stabbing himself. That is incorrect. The correct answer is generating a force field.
Oh, all right.
It's fine. I was gonna pick that one anyway.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
For the record, I was questioning
like
it as a readback.
Part of the trailer.
Oh, gotcha.
Was it?
Yeah, like, well,
I guess I'm just like most of the audience, where it said Devil May Cry, and my eyes glossed over, and I was like, I'm gonna eat some food
that's
tonight.
not how sales of Devil May Cry 5 will say.
You know what? I'm not talking about it.
Question number 8. What was the first line spoken in the Oddworld Soulstorm trailer? Is it, quote, "Who are these morons"? Is it, "Holy shit"? Is it, "What are they doing"? Or is it, "Follow me"? What was the first line spoken in the Oddworld Soulstorm trailer? Who are these morons? Holy shit.
No.
What are they doing?
Maybe.
Follow me.
Maybe. I feel like the follow me thing that's what Abe does later, right? So what are they doing is my answer.
Correct. That is correct.
Shit.
Number
How
9.
many more do I have left? Fuck.
Yeah, 2 more left.
I lose you if I get one of these wrong.
You
put your, you took this in the privacy of your own home. No one watching you.
2, 3. Yeah, 4 correct. 5 correct. So yeah, you have to get both the next ones to tie with me.
Oh God, okay.
Sorry, I'm looking at the next question. How many enemies were killed in the Demon Souls gameplay trailer? Is it 11, 13, 8, or 6? How many enemies were killed in the Demon Souls gameplay trailer? 11, 13, 8, or 6?
See, the issue here is that Demon Souls, it's such a hard game. Because this is killed, right? Enemies killed?
Yes, enemies killed.
So it's like, did they kill? It's either 6 the least or it's 13 the most. Because it's got, you know what I mean? But like, oh, fuck. There was the big spider guy. He got stabbed. You know what, Blessing? I overthought this one. I don't need to. All right. Everybody knows Taylor Swift's favorite number is 13. I put my faith in Taylor Swift and I picked 13.
Correct. Whoa. They're right here.
It's down to the last one, isn't it?
They're right here. You probably hate us for this question. A whopping 13 enemies were slain.
I do really hate you for that question, Push Square. Thank you.
Slain during the Demon Souls gameplay trailer. 11 of them are dispatched during the demo portion of the video, and 2 additional foes are killed as the trailer cuts between different shots near the end. Last question. Which of these games is not part of the PlayStation Plus collection on PS5? Is it Until Dawn, God of War, Persona 5 Royal, Days Gone?
Persona 5 Royal. It's Persona 5 that's in the collection. Nice try, Push Square.
Correct. You
Nice
score
try.
7 out of 10. Tied up with me. Good stuff. How do you feel?
I don't like that. I don't like being put on the spot. I don't like it being an unknown thing. I don't
You
like
did a
them
good job
asking
regardless.
questions about Devil May Cry. So, yeah, but like full disclosure, like many of those were guesses. Like I don't know. I didn't count how many. Did you? You didn't know how many enemies got killed in the Demon Souls thing, did you?
No, I think that was the one I got. That was one of the ones I got wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I can't remember which ones I got right.
Closely. I guess I didn't watch it closely, like they're saying, right?
You didn't watch it closely enough. Granted, I mean we're doing reactions, and so we can only watch it so closely. But even given that we're doing reactions, like 7 is still a great score. I think I guessed the Devil May Cry one and got that right somehow, and then I'm trying to find the other ones I got wrong. I got the hammer thing right from Resident Evil.
Did you remember it though, or did you guess it?
A little bit of both. Like it felt right though it was a hammer, but I don't know if I remembered it or if it was just one of those things where I played enough Resident Evil to know that they like hammers in those games. They also like chainsaws though, and so who knows?
See, that was my thing.
I got
I like that. I want more.
yeah.
I want more quizzes like that.
I've of course got Tinkerer correct.
Of course, Kevin, the famous role.
Oh yeah, Kevin. Yeah,
What?
played the Tinkerer in Lego.
You were the Tinker.
Oh yeah.
the Lego games.
Yeah. Hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
I think I might have got the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War year wrong.
Yeah,
I
again,
was not
just
alive.
deductive stuff there. But even then, I was like, if you notice, I was like, well, the Cold War was in the 80s, right? I didn't even think that Ronald Reagan's in it. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
Reagan was making big moves. But this is back to Americana, right, Kevin? Where it's like, wait, when did Ronald Reagan become president? And then I got to do a whole bunch of math in my head to try to figure that out. And I'm not going to do it. I
Can't.
refuse.
Can't do it. He's gonna refuse.
Because I remember in kindergarten,
Right.
they had us put our little photos on who we'd vote for between Bush and Dukakis.
Right.
Wait, really?
And
Yeah.
yeah. And I was
That sounds
I
like a
was-
thing they did for us in like 4th grade. Kindergarten seems early for that though.
Well, and that was the thing is, let me tell you, I was
Dukakis
raised
is
in an
pretty radical.
affluent white suburb. So guess what? It was all the kids on Bush, and then me and one other kid from the afternoon class on Dukakis, which should have told you everything. I was voting that way, but that would have been 89. So a new president in 90. So then in 82, that doesn't sound right. Is that one? Well, did Reagan do 2 terms? He must have done 2 terms, right?
wait, 89.
Because I'm doing 4, 8, 81. Oh, 81. So there you go. So in 81, he would have been running to take office in 82.
Wait, how is that? Because wait, we got a 2000 was an election year, right? And so if we're rewinding by 4s,
Yeah.
96, 92, 88 would have been the election year, right?
He was 81 to 89. He was the president. Oh yeah,
Cool.
you're right. 88 was the year. You're right. 88 was the year.
Gotcha.
Oh, so I graduated kindergarten in 1989. That's how old I am, everybody.
Who do you think was the president when I was in kindergarten?
Oh God. I mean, W. It must have been W.
Hold on, I'm doing the math. When was I in kindergarten? Oh wait, no, I would have been in 1st grade in 2001. So kindergarten would have been in year 2000.
Okay. Well, then it's election 2000, right? Yeah. So I would have been wrong. It would have been.
Oh, yeah.
Would have been Clinton.
Yeah.
You're so young. You know.
That's what that's what they call us the Zoomer generation because we be zooming. That's how young we are. I'm not a Zoomer.
Ladies and gentlemen, digest all of that while you hear from our sponsor, our friend Scott Porter, who is doing something pretty amazing for Huntington's disease to stop it, of course. Here he is to talk about Freeze HD. All right, and then back to us. Blessing, why don't we round out this episode, put her to bed by talking about what we've been playing. I already talked about something. We're done with that. I'm not going to bring it up again, all right? But what I will bring up is the suicide of Rachel Foster, which if you remember 2 episodes ago, I had just started in a similar situation where I started it in the morning and then had to do the show. And then I came back to it. And I told you at the start of it, man, the game was really great. And I was excited to see where the mystery was going, yada, yada, yada. I still enjoyed the game overall, but it does the traditional horror movie where it just can't close, where it just can't figure out its ending in a way that is like awesome. I thought the entire journey through it was great. I thought the performances were great. I liked where the story was going. It kept me guessing. It did things I wasn't expecting. Again, if you just joining us and you missed this before, suicide of Rachel Foster. You come back to your dad's hotel. He's passed away. You have been estranged from him for 10 years since basically, this is all revealed early on. Don't freak out. That it was revealed 10 years ago. Right. Or you were 10. It's a week since I played it. So it's just dusty. Since it was revealed that he was having an affair on your mother with this girl, Rachel Foster, who killed herself afterwards. And so you come back and then have to start piecing together this mystery of what's going on there. And it seems supernatural. And is the ghost of Rachel there? You get a creepy phone call. All these different things are happening. And so really enjoyed the ride, but it was that classic horror movie thing of once we got to that last thing and he turned the corner and then it just went, I was like, oh, you couldn't land the plane, but I enjoyed the ride overall and had a great time with it. Also, if you wanted to use some kind of spoiler-free walkthrough, it turns out it's a very easy platinum. I missed one trophy organically and I was pissed about it.
Cool.
Blessing, what have you been playing?
Greg, I'm happy to report that I have beaten Persona 5 Royal and that I have platinumed Persona 5 Royal. I'm free. I've done it. It's come to an end. There is kind of an emptiness there. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been in a relationship with this game.
How many hours?
Half a year now. 135.
Was it worth it?
Yes.
Okay.
I was blown away by the ending. The ending is fantastic. I was not expecting to get as emotional as I did toward the ending hours. Like they do the Persona 5 thing where they really know how to drive home the characters and your relationship with the characters and what the characters mean to the story. Like it is amazing how much I care about every single one of those characters in that game. Like it is crazy how they're able to pull that off. But yeah, like the way in which when Breath of the Wild came out, I feel like the common thing people talked about with that game was there's like a certain magic that we feel like operates in that game, right? In terms of how they really make it feel like magic and the way the discovery and exploration works. For me, with Persona 5, the game has such heart in like its characters and the relationships and the story. Like everything behind it has such heart to it, to the point where it's hard for me to even sit down and try to critique mechanics or various different things. Like the mechanics are awesome. Like they figured all that out except for that one dungeon that I complain about.
That everybody complains about. I saw.
Yeah, a few months ago. Terrible boss fight that was. But like I could sit here and try to pick apart certain things, but at the end of the day, there's a certain heart that game has, and it's just incredible. Like it is an incredible game. I thoroughly enjoyed my 135 hours. I think that now brings me to a total of about 250 hours total spent with Persona 5, and I don't regret any of it. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's good, and I'm glad I platinumed it too. Like it feels good it's one of those platinums where like
you're proud of that.
Yeah, like I've said this before, right? I don't necessarily care about platinums really, unless it's like platinum that like I feel like it's worth getting. And Persona 5 Royal is one of those to me because one, it's not too difficult of a platinum if you're beating the game anyway, but then also it's a game that I would say is special to me, and like that I feel like the platinum is kind of a symbol of that for me. Like I have platinums that aren't that, like Tales from the Borderlands, but even though I do like that game, but Persona 5 Royal, I really do take that as like a point of pride of like, oh yeah, like I beat this game, I did everything in this game, I really enjoyed this game. It's one of my favorite games ever now. Like it's something special, and so shout out to that.
That's awesome. Congratulations. I'm proud of you.
When are you gonna finish it?
I mean, you can joke around about it, but remember, I started the diary for a reason. I will get back to Persona 5 Royal.
Oh, you'll be back to it. No time soon.
What diary?
The book I brought I had the book multiple times on the show where I was showing you my notes. Yeah, so that I wouldn't get in the same Persona 5 situation where I don't remember anybody or what they're doing. Like I have my part-time job written down. I have descriptions of what's going on and why it matters and stuff like that. But as usual, and back to my point, and I'm not even trying to start a war or whatever. It's just like a JRPG is something it's not a genre I traditionally enjoy. And so again, it's that thing of, it's not even the amount of time, which has always been the joke I make, right? Of like, oh man, 135 hours. It's 100% the gameplay loop of it, where I'm still playing Avengers. That's on my list here, right? And I'm going to continue to play Avengers. And I think since we last talked about Avengers, like I hit the power level cap with Captain America, which of course meant grinding and going after all these resources, and the not even slow descent into madness that game became for me of doing it, where Goldfarb explained to me, all right, well, yeah, when you're when you get to power level 30, that's as high as you can naturally go with your gear. But then you get the plus 10 power from your major artifact. Then you use the upgrade resources on your things to get them to 140. So then plus the 10 gets you to 150. I remember hearing all that. I'm like, that doesn't sound fun, and I won't do it. And then I started doing it. I was like, oh, I actually enjoy this, but I'll never do it with the second character. And now I'm running Black Widow, trying to get her back to that point to gear that out. And when I do that, I'm going to be like, all right, now I want to do it for Kamala. And then, am I going to be doing it for Hawkeye and everything else? Like, Avengers continues to be that game that everything we've said and you've heard about it is true, where, man, it's broken here. Oh man, I want more of this. Oh, it sucks the same hallways. Oh, it's the gameplay's so fun. Oh, and it's just like, it's still that thing that I love to do of signing on every night and hitting up Goldfarb, Tam, and Sean. And we go out there and we just wreck shop for 2 hours and hang out and talk shit. And not rarely even about the game lots of times, right? Just what's going on with our lives, our industry. And then also a little bit of like, yeah, I can't wait for Hawkeye, or I can't wait for the next War Table, or I can't look for this. And of course they just dropped a major patch last week trying to address some of the things, and what comes next, I don't know, but I'm still hopelessly addicted to Avengers, which is that's interesting. Awesome. That the game I was talking about before, that's embargoed, of course, let's see how much that interjects into it and does all that stuff. And then Hades too, but we already talked about that as well too. That's a pops if I ever heard one.
Yeah. Oh my god. Put it on PlayStation, please. I'm really adoring that game. This is the first Supergiant game. Also, it's Supergiant, right? Yeah. I always get their name mixed up with Drinkbox for no reason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for no reason whatsoever. And Supermassive. I get for some reason they are these rotating developers that make completely different games, but I mix their names up. And I think it is because of this podcast, and maybe beyond. Like, I think hearing you guys talk about all these studios, sure. I'm sure there was like a time where they probably all released games at the same time, right? And I would hear you guys, and I'd hear you guys like reference them, and now they're all the same to me in my head between Supermassive, Drinkbox, and Supergiant. But yeah, this is the first time I'm playing a Supergiant game that I am totally in on. Like, I tried Transistor and just like fell off of it, even though I think that game's beautiful and totally does some really cool things, but the gameplay just wasn't for me. Tried Pyre, gameplay wasn't for me. This time around, it's hit me. Like, this is exactly for me.
For me, being somebody who is such a huge Bastion fan and reviewed that for IGN, obviously I have loved the games that have come since and when I play them and stuff. But I think it was Klepik, but it might have been Schreier over the weekend tweeted about it and put in there like the last two, Transistor and Pyre, right? Just didn't click gameplay wise in a way that you couldn't put it down. So they never finished it. And it was the same way for me, where I really dug Transistor, but it was one of those things that I played and then something else came along. So I put it down and I never felt the need to go back to it. And then Pyre, I was right there with you of like, oh, this is a cool story, but I don't want to play this weird soccer game or whatever. And I get what you're doing. It's just not for me. Hades is such a return to Bastion form for me, where it is like, fuck, I love this. And I can't believe that I loved it from the first trailer. I, installed the Epic Game Store on my fucking PC, and played a game on PC, which I never do. And then now to have it on Switch and be sitting there over the weekend, sitting down and playing it and be like, yeah, this still fucking slaps.
Yeah, I want to talk about it more on Gamescast because
sure, yeah.
I want to dig into it. Aside from that, also another game that's not on PlayStation I've been playing, Super Mario 3D All-Stars. I'm not going to say it the pops because I don't think that'll ever come to PlayStation.
Well, you never know. Maybe that's PlayStation's big move to fight back.
Oh man, I mean, if there's any move that could defend against Bethesda and Microsoft, it is, hey, let's buy Nintendo. That'd be great. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of that. And then I've also been playing Tamarin, which is a game I talked about on Gamescast. But I do want to rank it for PSN games ranked. To reiterate for this podcast, and I'm gonna make it a succinct point because I kind of ranted about this game on Gamescast.
Sure.
It is so Tamarin is a game from Rare Devs that it's a third-person platformer that is taking a lot of influence from Jet Force Gemini and other games from Rare's N64 catalog. And summed up, it really does feel like some really good ideas based on what those games did, mixed with some of the worst ideas from those games. And I'm somebody who loves those games. I'm somebody who loves Jet Force Gemini, DK64, and Banjo and Conquer. And this game really, weirdly enough, this game really leans into like the DK64, Jet Force Gemini, Conquer side of things. Like, you play as a little Tamarin with a gun, and a Tamarin is basically like a thing that looks like a small red panda kind of creature. If you don't know what a Tamarin is, because I did not. But like, yeah, it has when I say cool ideas, right? Like it has almost like a Metroidvania-esque 3D space kind of space as in like environment kind of style where you're going through these different levels, you're finding new abilities, and then those new abilities will allow you to progress in the levels. It has like a lot of collectathon stuff going on with it. Some good, a lot bad, where there are things that you're collecting where I'm like, I don't know what this is for. I don't know
why
what
am
this
I doing
does.
this? Yeah.
Yeah, why am I doing this? These collectibles just exist just to exist, and then there are other collectibles that you collect to get other collectibles. But some of those collectibles can be shot in the head and killed. In the case of the birds that are in the shooting levels that are supposed to be like your rivals from Jet Force Gemini, it's a whole thing, man. I wanted to like this game more, and in fact, within the first few hours, I really was enjoying this game. I really liked the what they were doing with the story and what they were doing in terms of Tamarin's home has been destroyed by these ants, like these alien ants that are the exact same things from Jet Force Gemini that seem to represent industry and seem to represent like some of these bigger ideas that they never really go all in on. But it was kind of salient playing it at the same time that California's been on fire, and it kind of hit me that way. In the first few hours, I was like, oh man, yeah, this is like a really cool, pleasant game, and I'm really enjoying my time with it. I really like how it looks. I really like the soundtrack done by David Wise. I think he did a fantastic job. But the more and more I played of it, the more and more it started to break down in all these different ways, namely being the collectathon stuff gets way too much. The shooting controls are not great. In fact, they are maybe worse than Jet Force Gemini's shooting controls. It's a mixed bag in a lot of ways, but let me just wanting way more. And so to rank it for PSN games ranked, let's see here. I mean, do you want to do the whole intro? I know it's been a while since we've done this for it.
Blow the dust off.
Blow it
Hey,
off.
everybody, this is PSN Games Ranked. Remember, we wanted to rank 2 PSN games against the rest of them throughout the year based on the blog and the drop, and they stopped doing it. So now we just have a funny list we're tossing things into. Right now, the top 10 look like this. There are a total of 50 games on the list. Number 1, Manifold Garden. Number 2, Telling Lies. Number 3, Fall Guys. Number 4, John Wick Hex. Number 5, Streets of Rage 4. Number 6, Under Night In Birth EXE. Number 7, Subliminal. Number 8, Hunt Down. Number 9, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. And number 10, Round Guard. You can keep up with the list at kindafunny.com/104list. Blessing, where do you want to put Tamarin?
I'm going to put it at number 33, right below Hunt Showdown and right above Castle Pals. Castle Pals, if you remember, was like a 2D Ratalika game that I accidentally got a platinum in. And then Hunt Showdown was a multiplayer game that me and Greg played together. Pretty popular on PC. And I'm sure it's popular too on console. But this feels like it fits in right there because it feels like there was more TLC put into it. I'm not even say TLC because I don't want to disparage the Ratalika games because some of them are pretty good. But it feels like there's more there than there was in Castle Pals. But compared to Hunt Showdown just feels like a more complete, well-rounded experience compared to Tamarin. And so at number 33, it sits.
I have breaking news for you. I'm going to put The Suicide of Rachel Foster in at number 15.
Oh,
that puts it, of course, below Kamiko, which you ranked, and then above Foxyland 2, which I put in there at number 16 as a surprise. So
nice.
There you go. Anything can happen here on PS. I love you XOXO / 104 PSN games ranked. And hey, that's 52, meaning that we're halfway to that 104 number we wanted when we started this whole dang thing.
Do you think we're gonna get there?
I mean, we'd have to start playing more since we took weeks off. So no.
I mean, I feel like I've been playing games pretty regularly.
You have, but remember it was that we no. Don't try to turn it around on me like we're not doing the work. Remember it was that like we didn't have the week. There'd be a week where we wouldn't do it and we would slip and we wouldn't put it in the thing. And we didn't. That's where it started getting off. And then yeah, it's not that we're not playing the games.
You're saying we a lot, Craig. No, I'm joking. I know it was me too.
No. You can say whatever you want, motherfucker. We'll get to the end of the year and see who's got as many numbers on the list. Now it's
wait, do you think you're gonna get more games on this list than I am?
Are you on this list?
Wait, hold on. Count the. I want to count the.
We're not. Somebody else can count them.
Because I definitely am. I don't think there's a chance in hell you catch up to me on this list in terms of the amount of games that we each have on this list.
Is this an
you can only be ahead by 3 or 4.
What was that, Kev?
Is this an Excel spreadsheet?
It's a Google Doc.
Oh yeah, but sorry. So you should be able to organize it. Did you guys ever mark who was putting in what?
Every time.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it should be easy to organize. You just need to alphabetize that.
Oh yeah, no, we're doing this now. I'm making it a thing.
Everybody
All
go
right,
to kindafunny.com/104list. You can look for yourself. I just updated it with the things that are happening right now. So you can get in there and then
we're transforming the segment into something new. Now it's Blessing versus Greg, who can play more.
But here's the
indie
thing:
games
is you have to. There's a couple in here where we both put our name on it, right? So you got to keep that in mind when you go through. Maybe it's actually just Fall Guys.
Yeah, I think it's just Fall Guys. Though, I mean, if you want, you can add your name to Hunt Showdown because you played that with me, right?
No. You want to check on?
But then I'll have to add my name to Zombie Army.
You want to try to fucking fight me on this? We'll fucking go. Don't worry.
No, we can fight.
The streets. Yeah, I'll see you in the streets. That's what we're always talking about, right?
Make sure to wear a mask.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's PS I Love You XOXO for episode 38. Remember, the show doesn't stop. You can go to patreon.com/kindafunnygames to get that post show we do each and every week. Of course, on patreon.com/kindafunnygames, you can get a bevy of perks, including getting your questions read on the show. You can be part of the PSN profiles when we do them. You can watch live, just like Demetrius Newell, Mike L, and the final boss fight are right now. Of course, if you have no bucks to toss our way, it's no big deal. You can get a new episode of PS I Love You XOXO each and every Tuesday, 6 a.m. Pacific time, youtube.com/kindafunnygames, podcast services around the globe. No matter where you get the show, thank you. Consider subscribing, liking, following, sharing tweets, all that jazz. And of course, going to patreon.com/kindafunnygames, where we got a post show to do. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.